Day of football. The city will take on San Francisco. And remember, San Antonio Sports Star will be live from Las Vegas beginning a week from today. Shows all week long. Former Cowboys offensive coordinator Kellen Moore back in the division. He was hired as the Philadelphia Eagles offensive coordinator. And how about Ron Rivera for defensive coordinator for your Cowboys?
SportsCenter is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagle.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagle. I'm Jason Minix. Super Bowl is set.
Just as predicted by me.
Yeah, by you. I was 0 for 2 yesterday straight up. Although I think I was 2-0 against the spread, was I not?
No, you weren't.
No?
You were 1-1 against the spread.
1-1 against the spread. It's keeping track of all my bets.
I know it.
And
Dude.
The ones that matter, and then of course the beer bet that I won with you. But besides the points, yeah, I what are you laughing at, Pledge?
He's giggling in there for some reason.
Well, Pledge is easily entertained.
Dude,
He
the beer bet.
he entertains himself.
I was so close.
Yet so far away.
So close. I took
all of a sudden it's gambling has become horseshoes.
I took San Francisco -7 and over 53 in a little parlay. So close. I cannot believe they allowed the Lions to score that garbage touchdown.
Yeah. Well, and we'll talk a lot about Dan Campbell's decision-making and the number of points he left out there on the field.
As long as we can talk about Josh Reynolds forgetting how to catch a football. Can we do that?
He did not do John Jay proud.
No.
He did not.
No,
that was I think you saw a couple of games yesterday. One where it felt like Baltimore and their entire team was channeling their inner Dallas Cowboy and not ready for the moment. And Josh Reynolds, in my mind, it was flashbacks of Patrick Creighton when he was playing for the Cowboys against the New York Giants.
Wow.
Everybody that wants to blame, Tony Romo for going to Mexico with Jason Witten and Bobby Carpenter and what's her name? Patrick Creighton dropped 2 what would have been, should have been easy catches. And that was Josh Reynolds. And what pissed me off about the first Josh Reynolds drop is on the sidelines, he's talking about how the pass wasn't perfect.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
I mean, you can see by his motions.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
It still hit you in the hands, man. The second one, dude, that guy's going to be 78 years old at one point in his life and wake up in night sweats over a drop like that.
There's no doubt about it. And all you had to do is look down on the other side of the field when you got, what's his name, Scanling, making that beautiful catch that sealed the deal, right, for the Chiefs.
Yeah,
that was fantastic.
MVS. Just go ahead and try to make noise in here, Shelton.
Yeah, we got our engineer in here.
He's trying to walk in all gingerly quiet. He can just make noise. Or he can get grumpy and walk out and leave.
Oh, my goodness. The air conditioner's not working in the studio.
It's not.
And Shelton was trying to put in a contraption there of some sort. I guess it's an air conditioner.
It's something. It's something.
So when you said that, we just got a little bit of a one finger salute, and he stormed out.
Well, and the idea was he was trying to walk in and be all gingerly quiet. That was making more noise than if you just walk in and do it.
Well, Shelton's not exactly the most, what's a good way to say it?
Ginger?
Well, that
quiet?
That's not what graceful.
Great.
Graceful. He's not exactly graceful. So he's not happy though.
Well, he's not happy because, well, and again, this is all Rob Thompson's fault.
Yes, it is, as a matter of fact.
See, we had a meeting this morning at 10
Mm-hmm.
on video. So it's not like you and I had to be here at 10. But the meeting starts and Rob was complaining that it was hot as hell in the studio.
Yeah.
But he didn't tell anybody.
Didn't tell anybody.
He didn't tell anybody. So we walked in about 10 minutes ago, and it's like, So I go to Greg Martin. I was like, hey, Greg, I'm sure Rob told you. No, he didn't actually. What's going on? So Rob never told you that the AC was broke in the studio? Because there's multiple ACs in the building.
Well, right, sure.
Right? And so, the studios are hot. But generally speaking, Dan Camp said, yeah, I'm sure the sports guys have already bitched, but it's hot in here.
Yeah.
No, Rob didn't tell anybody on his way out. Pledge, is your studio okay?
Oh yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, shut up. And so, and then I guess Sam from Jack FM, because we're all on the same AC unit. I don't know if Sam's here, although all I've seen him do is walk up and down the hallway making choking motion as if he's talking about Lamar Jackson or the Detroit Lions or everybody else that we saw playing yesterday.
He did that. He did that this morning in our meeting. I don't know if you saw him, but he was photobombing that too. So Sam's been all over the place today. He's one of those prankster moods.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, apparently.
Oh, it's because his studio is 114 degrees. He doesn't want to be in there.
I don't blame him, but when you see the video that I did earlier, and you will, it'll be on the socials pretty soon if it's not already. You can see Sam walk by with the choking motion as I'm describing Lamar Jackson and his good friend Dak Prescott.
Now, why would you put it that way?
Well, because they're two of a kind. Neither one of them can come through in the big moments. And you know what was so interesting about that? And I was thinking about Dak and the Cowboys, that when you see Travis Kelce making a fantastic catch that he made, Brandon Ayuk making the catch that he made last night, and Scanling, what's his name?
Marquez
Valdez. Yeah,
Scantling.
that guy.
MVS.
Marquez.
I know he's new to the
Scanling.
league, but yeah.
We used to wear yellow pants.
That he did.
He made a hell of a catch. And, I'm thinking, wow, these guys were all ready for the moment. Some guys are, some guys aren't.
And you look at the Ravens, and that Ravens-Chiefs game, very reminiscent of last year's Cowboys-Niners game, where the defense played fantastic. I mean, there were some plays there that they could have made. They didn't, but they didn't get any help from the offense.
Yeah.
If you're Baltimore and you're a Baltimore Ravens fan, and Lamar Jackson is going to take all this kind of grief, and when you play quarterback and you're an MVP, it comes with the territory. But what was the play calling that Baltimore was doing? I mean, you're a run-first football team, yet Gus Edwards has 3 carries for 20 yards. Hill had 3 carries for 3 yards. Zay Flowers had 2 carries. Lamar had 8. You're a run-first football team, and you just completely abandon the run game? Everything is set up for you, and you abandon the run game?
Yeah, I think sometimes coordinators and coaches try to be too smart instead of just playing football. And I think they try to outsmart the other guy, and it's all a game of chess. And I think that was what happened. But look, having said all that, and I agree with that, the play calling yesterday was not good.
The head scratching.
Well, it was, but Lamar Jackson missed some passes.
He did?
That I haven't seen him miss. I mean, certainly not during the regular season. And some of them were just like, dude, where were you throwing that? And then he gets so frustrated with himself, throwing his helmet and just, the faces that he made. The pressure got to him.
It did. Although and in all fairness, Kansas City played an incredible 2 halves of football. Very aggressive in the first half. And then, Patrick Mahomes became the game manager of the second half. And there's some good long drives. Yet Baltimore, while they lost the game and they didn't do much, they had 2 red zone turnovers.
Yeah,
they Flowers fumbling it, right there at the goal line. Effort play. I mean, it happens. He's diving in for the end zone. It gets punched out. Lamar throwing in the triple coverage. I don't know. One year the tight end. Hey, throw me the ball. There's only 3 dudes around me. but they had 2 red zone turnovers. I mean, as poorly as they seemingly played, they had a chance to win that game.
Sure. I had a chance to win the lottery Saturday night.
Well,
didn't happen.
You got to make the
Had
plays.
a chance to win a parlay yesterday. Didn't happen.
Had a chance to win a beer bet.
I did win that.
No.
I sure did.
Against who?
You.
No.
What are you talking about?
I had Detroit in the points.
But you lost Kansas City.
We were only beer betting on the one game because we both had, right?
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
Well, but you were 1-1, so that means I was 1-1.
Our beer bet was only on the San Francisco game.
Right. So we're 1-1. We had the spread and the game. Who was going to win, and then would do the spread. So we had 2. So you went 1-1. I went 1-1.
We're gonna have to call in the judge. The way I remember Friday happening was the beer bet was on
Pull it up,
Detroit
Pledge.
covering Detroit covering the points.
Because I'm tired of you. You see, you guys will gang up on me. Oh, that Joe, he's crazy.
Yeah, we're ganging up on you.
Yeah, he's crazy. So I want to hear the audio of that. So I said, let's do the game, and then we'll do the spread also.
Yeah.
So you had Detroit. You lost 1, you won 1. I had San Francisco. I lost 1, I won 1. Sounds like a tie to me.
Sounds like revisionist history.
No, I just
to save yourself from having to go get me a 12-pack.
Pledge has it.
He'll find it.
Yeah.
I believe the beer bet was Detroit in the points.
No, it was 2 separate bets.
Okay. We'll check the tape.
We're checking the tape.
We'll check the tape.
Jeez, you see what happens to me here?
Yeah.
This is what happens.
Yeah, you lose a bet and you try to figure out a way not to pay.
No,
that's all anybody's hearing out there.
Oh my gosh! I just want it to be fair. You know, you guys change the rules on me like this.
I think you're the one changing the rules.
No,
but
we'll changing the rules.
Pledge is checking the tape. We'll figure it out.
Yes.
And let's talk about those games yesterday. How much blame are you putting on Dan Campbell today? 210-656-ESPN. 656-3776 on Twitter at Joe Reinagle 210. You can tweet at me at J Semenix. If you're a business owner, a manager, a club leader, and you need your logo on any kind of gear, get into Sammy's Embroidery and Printing down on San Pedro, especially if you need your logo on some winter gear with the rodeo coming up, some more cold weather, you need your logo on a jacket, a half zip, a hoodie, a beanie. Sam will get you taken care of. He has over 700 uniform lines to choose from, all kinds of industries. Maybe you just need that logo on a nice dress shirt or a golf shirt, a long sleeve golf shirt. Sam will take care of you. You need caps. Sam has over 25,000 caps and more than 75 color combinations on display in his showroom, including the popular Richardson 112 style trucker caps. Nobody has better prices. Sammy has all the big name brands. No order too big, certainly no order too small. So call Sammy's Embroidery and Printing at 210-824-3900, 824-3900, or better yet, go by that massive showroom on San Pedro, 1 mile inside Loop 410, next to Big Lots across from McDonald's, or check the website, samsembroidery.com for Sammy's Embroidery Club.
The NFL playoffs are here.
Read all about it, baby. One last drive.
Wild card, divisional, conference championship, and Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. Hear it on your exclusive home for the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
When you need an electrician, you know Hill Electric is available to you 24/7 for both residential and commercial needs. I've used Hill Electric for a variety of projects at my home. They've added extra outlets in the garage, a spotlight over one of the grills outside, dimmer lights in the living room. For over 3 decades, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio homes and businesses. Whatever your project is, Hill Electric does have the right service at the right price. And here's what's great. Never a service charge, always free estimates. So it costs you absolutely nothing to figure out what it will take to get a project done. So call Hill Electric, 210-404-9074, 404-9074, or Hill.
Through divorce, custody, child support, and alimony problems. Call me. I'm attorney Steve Benke.
210-DIVORCE or go to BenkeLaw.com.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right?
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Ooh, pass me the intercom thingy.
Attention shoppers. If you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Don't pay for water. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods.
Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
With your choice of select sandwich, nugs, fries, and a drink, Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag is your go-to. Your nugget wingman. Your hot and crispy fry co-pilot.
Just like us. We're like the bag boys.
What?
Bag boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when we bring your food?
For a deal you can count on, bet on Biggie and choose wisely. Choose Wendy's.
Bag boys.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Includes choice of JBC or crispy chicken sandwich with 4-piece nuggets, junior fry, and small soft drink. Third-party delivery pricing may be higher.
Getting your guaranteed maximum refund with TaxSlayer feels like saddling up and chasing down.
Look at that sweet moolah!
That big old cash cow.
Look at all that money!
File for free with TaxSlayer Simply Free and get your guaranteed maximum refund. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
When was the last time you went to the dentist? Need a new dentist? Hi, Jason Minix here. Go see my dentist at Smile Structure Dentistry and Braces. Smile Structure can handle all your dentistry needs, from general dentistry to oral surgery, orthodontics for the kids, or Invisalign for adults. Mention this ad, get a free exam and x-rays. Veteran owned with 5 San Antonio area locations. Learn more and book an appointment online at smilestructure.com. That's smilestructure.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Super Bowl 58 in Vegas is set. It's the Chiefs and Niners. Hear it right here on your exclusive home for the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
You know, a week from today, we will be live in Las Vegas for our AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage, powered by Synergenics, Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, and 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. He is Joe Reinagle. I'm Jason Minix.
There we go. Looking forward to that. There will be no buttons to push in Vegas.
There's more buttons to push.
There are a lot of buttons to push.
Yes. And one of the buttons to push might be yours on how a gambling bet is going to be paid off. So is this from Friday Pledge? All right.
So, by the way, obviously I'm betting on Kansas City to cover that because I think they're going to win the game. And I think San Francisco wins by 10 or more.
By 10 or more?
10 or more. So I would lay the 7.
If I would have taken San Francisco, I would have taken Detroit to cover.
Okay, so that's our beer bet.
Sure.
You got Detroit plus 7.
Time for another beer bet.
There we go.
With the Blitz.
I'll wait for the highly produced beer bet
there
segment
you go.
there. And I've got San Francisco minus 7. Beer bet. No, so it's a 12-pack of Flight.
Yeah.
Okay. What my memory is.
Isn't that what we do, Pledge?
Not good.
Yeah, 12, Flight, beer bet, basically.
Pledge keeps track of when we've got to go to the store.
The difference is Detroit and the points, right?
Yes. So it's a 7-point spread right now. I just looked on my app, and that's what they have it listed as. 7 points, San Francisco.
Okay. And then Kansas City's game?
Kansas City, Baltimore is favored by 4 in that game.
Kansas City in the points.
Okay. So,
yeah.
Oh, you're taking Kansas City. Well, we can't bet that. So we'll just do the San Francisco one. Because I'm not taking Baltimore when I pick Kansas City to win.
Let's throw the red flag and challenge this thing. It's cost you a timeout and a 12-pack.
I hate the fact that there's audio of that. And had I known that last night, I'm sitting there cheering and rooting on, little did I know, it cost me big. Damn San Francisco defense.
It's like that what happened replay, when the little girl says, don't want to watch the game with you because you talk too much, and they go to the replay.
Wow.
I think they're showing that right now on our YouTube channel if you're watching there.
His confidence, though. Check the tape, Pledge.
It's not only that, but it was Joe setting all the parameters for the bet.
It was. I was that confident.
I mean, but it's not like you could say you talked me into this. You made a beer bet, and I was not aware of it. Like every time you lose, you always have these reasons why you got suckered into it, and it wasn't real. And in this one, it was all you.
I think
all of it.
That had to be made up.
Oh, yeah.
Pledge did that this morning.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly what he did.
Damn it. So little did I know when I'm sitting there screaming at the San Francisco defense last night because they cost me money. They also cost me a 12-pack of beer. All right. I got the evidence is there. You will have your 12-pack tomorrow.
I'm pretty good at this whole evidence. I've got jury duty on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I remember everything. Except for what I don't.
Exactly.
And yes.
You'll have your I heard it with my own ears. Everybody that's listening.
You said it with your own mouth.
I said it with my own mouth. Yeah, that was a long time ago. That was like 3 days ago.
That was. So do you blame Dan Campbell?
No.
A lot of people are hammering Dan Campbell, and I'm one of them. And I love Dan Campbell, right? And he has been aggressive all year. And just like what happened in Dallas, his philosophy, his stubbornness, his aggressiveness, his ego, whatever you want to call it, cost him a win in Dallas because he told his team, we're going to go down there, we're going to score, we're going to go for two. And, at some point you can be aggressive, but you still have to make smart situational football decisions. And I thought, yesterday, Dan Campbell did not do that. He did it in the first half when he kicked the field goal to go up 17. And it was surprising. I mean, you heard Burkhart and Greg Olson a little surprised that Dan Campbell's kicking a field goal there because, man, if they're up 21, but they went up 3 scores. San Francisco, they took the second half kickoff, good drive, ended with the field goal. You had a chance to basically nullify their drive. And you go back up 3 scores with 7 minutes to play in the third quarter. You go up 3 scores. It's a championship game. I know you're aggressive by nature, but going up 3 scores is so valuable in a game like that when you can see a lead. And we all know San Francisco can score like that, and they did. And it changed the momentum.
So if Dan Campbell, if they go for it there and he makes it, he's a genius. He's a genius. If they get yes, he is, and you know it. Yeah, the guy's a rebel. He's a genius. They did it, stole the momentum. They went down and scored a touchdown. Way to go, Dan Campbell. So that I don't go for this whole let's blame Dan Campbell for being aggressive. Here's the first thing, and what Dan Campbell knew in that third quarter was his defense wasn't stopping San Francisco. They weren't going to.
Isn't that more of a reason to keep adding points to the scoreboard?
It's more of a reason to take chances. You're Detroit. You're in the NFC Championship game.
You're up 17.
Okay. You're up 17. They would have lost anyway. San Francisco ends up putting 34 points on the board.
I look at that and yes, and I don't know that I would say genius, because when he was lining up to go for it, I was telling Joanna, this is bad. He needs to kick the field goal here, kick the field goal here, kick the field goal here. And then, of course, Josh Reynolds drops it.
I mean, there you go. That was part of it.
Well, I mean,
he's a genius. If Reynolds catches that football, he's a genius.
Ballsy. I don't know about genius.
He's a genius. Then they're up 21, are they not?
If they go down and score.
Sure. Which they would have had all the momentum.
But they lost all the momentum. And then, of course, they had the fumble. And now all of a sudden, then you get another chance to tie the game. Which, again, smart thing to do. tie the game, right? So if San Francisco scores, you only need a score. Now, bring it even. He didn't do that. And then San Francisco scored. Now you've got it. Now you're chasing 10. And then again, his philosophy, you're down on the goal line. You've got 3 timeouts. You got a minute something, and you run the ball and have to burn a timeout there. Why would you run the ball there? I mean, there were some decisions made by Dan Campbell that ultimately cost his team a game. And I know what his philosophy is, but it's like clock management and all these other decisions. There's smart football, and then there's analytics. What does your gut tell you to do? Now Dan said after the game, he's got no regrets.
I just felt really good about us converting and getting our momentum and not letting them play long ball. They were bleeding the clock out. That's what they do. And I wanted to get the upper hand back. And it's easy hindsight, and I get it. I get that. But I don't regret those decisions. And that's hard because, we didn't come through. It wasn't able to work out. But I don't. And I understand the scrutiny I'll get. That's part of the gig, man. But it just didn't work out.
It just didn't work out. And by the way, you're still up 14. So after he makes that, he doesn't kick the field goal there. You're still up 14, are you not?
You are.
So where's the defense? Where's the defense? So you're going to blame Dan Campbell for being aggressive when he knows his defense wasn't stopping San Francisco and they weren't going to. I don't blame the guy at all, and I certainly don't think that he cost the Lions the game. Now, I agree with you on the run play down there and running and having to use a timeout. That I agree with. But the going for it on 4th down, I don't blame Dan Campbell for that, and he certainly didn't lose the game because of it.
Well, not kicking those 2 field goals is 6 points in a game that you lost by 3.
Well, San Francisco missed a field goal too. So, you could go back and look at all kinds of stuff.
Sure, but, the smart football decision, you kick the field. And when you didn't get it the first time and you got a chance to get even, and again, Dan Campbell being Dan Campbell, but sometimes that aggressive philosophy, to steal his words, it bit him in the kneecaps twice in that game.
Well, I'd say his team let him down.
Well,
you got to convert. If you want to win a championship, convert. Do it. Your coach has got all the confidence in the world in you. Convert. And I don't blame him at all. His team should have said, hey, you know what? Let's do this. We're going to win this game. We don't want to we have it. It's ours.
When you look at that game and you think about it, and granted, that fumble, that was brutal. Those boys from Detroit hung in there big time. I'd say they outplayed San Francisco on the 49ers field. There was some crazy
stuff.
In the first half. And to a degree in the second half. Brock Purdy's talented, but there's no way that Brock Purdy said, all right, boys, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to throw this ball downfield. It's going to bounce off the line's face mask. And Brandon, because you had a ladybug on your shoe, you're going to be able to come up with a catch.
Yeah, and he did. He scored a touchdown. How many crazy plays were there in both games yesterday?
It was a wild day.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, to win championships, you need a little luck on your side. San Francisco got that. They had a little luck in that case. Lamar Jackson catching that pass that was deflected that he threw. That was lucky as hell. The catch that Travis Kelce made on just a toss by Patrick Mahomes looked like he was trying to throw it away. Kelce comes up with it. Plays happen. People get lucky. That's how you win games.
It's interesting. Kansas City felt like they went in and won that game. San Francisco, man, if there was ever a game where you felt like a team lost it, it was Detroit lost that game. They had everything, and then San Francisco took it.
Perhaps because San Francisco came out and said, we're changing things up, we're doing things differently, and they were marching up and down the field. Not to mention their defense finally showed up. So
Tale of two halves in that one for sure.
Well, absolutely.
But anytime there's a big collapse like that, and Kyle Shanahan has been on the other end of one in a Super Bowl.
Sure.
And now he's been on the winning side in the NFC Championship game. San Francisco made all the plays when they had to make them, and Detroit didn't make any. And again, I still think, and I love Dan Campbell's aggressive nature, but there is time and place. Kick that field goal, go up 3 scores. Because you don't know if you're up 17, what does that change from a mindset and philosophy of what San Francisco is trying to do.
With 7 minutes left in the third quarter, nothing. Absolutely nothing.
The game still came down to the wire. So, yes, I mean,
absolutely nothing.
Those 3 points matter.
Oh, again, the 3-point San Francisco missed mattered. I mean, so it's you're still up 14 points. You got to stop San Francisco. Maybe in the heat of the moment, maybe Dan Campbell sensed something that his defense wasn't going to be able to stop them. So we got to get every point we can get, be aggressive, keep the football out of the hands of the 49er offense.
Well, I think he had decided that on third down when they ran St. Brown on third down that they were going for it on fourth down.
I don't blame him for losing the game, as everybody seems to want to put this all on Dan Campbell. You might want to look at those players wearing the lion on their helmet. I think they had a hell of a lot to do with it.
It's the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. What do you guys think? 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. We'll take your calls as we continue here on the Blitz, talking about the Super Bowl matchup that is now set, San Francisco and Kansas City. Guys, Synergenics wants to help you conquer your New Year's resolution, especially if it was getting out and doing more. But if you're dealing with a lack of energy, motivation, possibly low libido, they could all be caused by low T levels. So your testosterone levels start to decline in your 30s. So if you're feeling a lack of energy and drive, it could be caused by low T. At Synergenics, they exclusively specialize in testosterone treatment and make it quick and easy to get your levels checked. And with the convenience of their on-site lab at Synergenics, you'll get your results back at your first visit. At Synergenics, you'll get customized care from testosterone specialists. So book your appointment now. Go to the website, fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com.
It's R&R in the morning.
Tuesday on Robin RJ, the Spurs, did they stack 3 consecutive wins? Did the Wizards offer what was needed? We'll look at what went down. And are we getting more minutes from Victor now?
The Super Bowl is on its way. Kansas City, San Francisco, who will win? Mahomes, Purdy, and how do Dallas Cowboys factor into it all? We will tell you. Get the coffee, get the donuts. We'll see you at 6 a.m.
It's your wake-up call. R&R in the morning, 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, this is Rob Thompson here for Prize Picks. I want to tell you about Prize Picks. For those of you guys that like to play and watch games a lot of different ways, there's lots of different ways to enjoy it. I've been a fantasy football player since the very beginning. Heck, I made my bones playing fantasy football, and Prize Picks is the first one that truly suits me. If you're a DFS player, there's no better place to go than Prize Picks because my knowledge matters. This is a game of skill, and I'm not worried about entire teams. I'm worried about my favorite player, my team, my league. All I got to figure is where he might be, where she might be, pick over, under, combine them with other players, get some prize picks, get some fun, but at the same time, use my knowledge. It's Prize Picks, and if you go to prizepicks.com, throw the word Alamo in there for your little promo, I'll tell you what, you're going to make a little bit of extra, get a little bit going, but I'll tell you what, Prize Picks is the one place I have found I can take my fantasy love and take it to the game. That's Prize Pick. Download today, use Alamo, and I know you're going to thank me later.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333.
Get the appliances you need right away at Lowe's. Explore the largest assortment of brands you trust, like Whirlpool, Samsung, and LG, in-store or online at the best values. Plus, take advantage of our everyday financing offers on top items, from refrigerators to laundry pairs. And there's more. Get your new appliances delivered or installed quickly at your convenience. Because Lowe's knows appliances. Lowe's knows home improvement. Subject to credit approval.
Hey, poker players, the Big Blind is open with a true Vegas feel. The Big Blind is the premier poker room in San Antonio, featuring an upscale environment catering to players from all abilities. Whether you are seeking high-octane tournaments or lively cash games. The Big Blind has a game for everyone. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road, just down from the Roo Pub, offers daily cash games to daily, weekly, and monthly tournaments. Learn more online at thebigblindsa.com. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's got to be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
O'Reilly. Did you know 1 in 4 car batteries is weak and needs to be replaced? O'Reilly Auto Parts will test your battery for free. If your battery needs to be replaced, our professional parts people can help you find the right Super Start battery for your vehicle and budget. Don't wait. Get your battery tested for free today at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
No amount of money can make up for a life-changing injury. I'm George Salinas, and at George Salinas Injury Lawyers, our team of attorneys will fight to get you the maximum compensation because we prepare and we care. So if you've been injured in an accident, get George. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com.
This is Jim Rome. Join me weekdays at noon on my new home, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
With the Super Bowl now set, you wonder if some of these teams with openings will finally hire a coach.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if Washington's really looking for Ben Johnson, he's available now.
He's free?
Yeah,
he's free. He's free. He's good to go?
Yep.
Seattle, I don't know what they're waiting for.
I don't either. Isn't that weird?
I mean, it's not like they don't know Dan Quinn. It's like, Dan, you're our guy unless this other guy says yes.
Yeah. I don't know. What does that say about Dan Quinn? Maybe a good coordinator, not so much a good head coach.
Well, I mean, he's had one opportunity.
Went to the Super Bowl.
And went to a Super Bowl. He's a hell of a coach. And it's weird because as a Cowboy fan, if I go back to October, the thought of Dan Quinn not being there was horrifying.
Yeah.
Right? Now it's like, get the job. But then I hear, well, Cowboys could be interested in Ron Rivera. Let's keep Dan.
Yeah, Ron Rivera.
Who? And it's weird because, you go back to how Ron Rivera made his bones in the NFL. It was as a DC.
Yeah.
And he's been, he was successful in Carolina. Hell, he took that team to a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Super Bowl 50. Think about that. It was in San Francisco.
Wow.
Do I penalize the guy because he had no success in Washington or not much success in Washington? Because I look at all the coaches that work for little Danny Snyder and think about all the success they had. Do I penalize them for that? I like Ron Rivera. He's an extremely nice guy.
Yeah.
It's not like he forgot football, but
it just doesn't give you, I don't know, it just doesn't scream like, all right, that defense is good. It just, I don't know, something about it. It just doesn't sound right. I'd rather have somebody I've never heard of who's an up-and-comer, go in there and have an opportunity. But I don't know. It sounds like Dan Quinn's not going anywhere.
Well, and again, should we be mad at that? Or do you, as we get further and further away from the end of the season, start getting ourselves excited as we've done for the last 28 years? Because as we were all reminded, yesterday was the anniversary, the 28th anniversary of the Super Bowl 30 win in Phoenix at Sun Devil Stadium. We understand the calendar, how it works. We'll start getting the free agency and then the draft, and then you're excited because next year is going to be our year.
Uh-huh.
And with Dan Quinn and that defense, depending on what they do. Do we get excited about that again? And I think I'd rather have a Dan Quinn back than I would Ron Rivera.
I think,
and maybe
yes.
maybe it's the Cowboys and Dan Quinn's people putting that out there. Hey, Ron Rivera's your option. No, man, Dan. Woo! Glad you didn't get that job in Seattle.
I just think if Dan Quinn was going to get the job in Seattle, he would have gotten it already. I mean, honestly, if that's their guy, they nothing to wait on. If that's their guy, I think it would have happened. So I have this feeling that maybe he's just not the guy.
And then you look at Philadelphia has gone and hired Lil Kellen Moore.
How do you feel about that?
I'm glad Kellen got a job. Kellen doesn't scare me like their defensive coordinator does.
No.
Vic Fangio getting the job there is a little bit more concerning, knowing what he has done to Dallas. But in 1 year, with Mike McCarthy as the offensive coordinator, we saw a big jump in Dak Prescott's play.
Uh-huh.
And in 1 year with Justin Herbert, and it's hard to look at the Chargers and blame anybody, but just offensively, Justin Herbert wasn't near as good this year as he's been in the past. So I don't know what to think, except for congratulations, Jalen Hurts. I don't know what to think there, because I think the shine off Kellen Moore is gone, because you saw Dak Prescott elevate his play. You saw CeeDee Lamb elevate his play, and you did not see elevation in play offensively from the Chargers with Justin Herbert.
Just think of all the info that Kellen Moore has rolling around in his head about the Dallas Cowboys, and the Eagles are going to love that, and they're going to sit him in a chair with a light in his eyes. And no, I don't know. Look, Kellen Moore, he's obviously talented. The Eagles think he's the right guy, so we'll see. And I think for Kellen Moore, you got to figure that's got to be revenge on your mind, going to a place like Philadelphia and being able to try at least and stick it to the Cowboys a couple of times.
Part of me feels that, but I also feel like that's something that a bunch of dudes are talking about while having beers at the Rue Pub or something. Because in reality, there's 32 jobs, and you're not going back to Dallas. You're not going back to LA. A lot of places aren't open. If Philly is the only one that offered you a job, you have to take it.
Sure.
So I don't know if you take it and you're going, man, this job versus that job, well, I can stick it to Dallas twice. I don't know that factors in. When you get to that level, it's just having a job.
Sure. But he had, like 5 interviews, didn't he?
Yeah, but how many jobs was he offered?
That's a good question.
There's a gazillion people interviewing all over the place. I
don't know. We may never know.
No,
I think it's a perk. It's like getting a new job and you get an extra week of vacation. Oh, comes with that. All right.
So going against Dan Quinn's defense is like a vacation.
Well, it was at the end of the year. Yeah, sure was.
It really was. Now, Ben Johnson, seemingly Washington's been waiting for Ben Johnson. Although, as the wheels continue to turn, the storylines, maybe somebody's hesitant on a Ben Johnson. This was Adam Schefter today on Pat McAfee show.
First and foremost, I'm not convinced yet that Ben Johnson's getting the Commander's job. I know people have said that he's the presumptive favorite, and he may get the job. Like he very well may. He's in contention, but that is not a slam dunk at all right now. And they are definitely looking at other people as well. And again, they may come back to Ben Johnson, but I think that they're pretty impressed with Mike McDonald and Aaron Glenn and Anthony Weaver as well. And I think those guys are going to have a legitimate chance to get that job. And then Ben Johnson's also in play in Seattle. So you have to see, okay, well, if he doesn't get Washington, is he then in Seattle? Or does Seattle pull an upset? Again, people have said here that they think Ben Johnson is going to Washington and Dan Quinn is going to Seattle.
Yes.
And I will bet you that at a minimum, one of those is not right. At a minimum. Maybe both.
Whoa.
And that's why I think Dan Quinn. I don't think Dan Quinn's going to Seattle, because if he was, I think he would have already gotten the job.
Well, and isn't Dan Quinn right now at a nice swanky hotel in D.C. getting ready for an interview tomorrow with Washington?
Yeah, he is. Maybe Washington wants him. Although, I don't know. Dan Quinn to me is not, I just don't, there's so many other guys out there, especially young guys, and it seems to be a trend with hiring these guys and giving them a shot. If I'm Washington, a new ownership group, I'd much rather have a Ben Johnson than a Dan Quinn.
Why?
Because I think Ben Johnson is first an offensive guy, and I think that's what they need there. Ron Rivera had that defense okay. They were okay until they traded away their two best players. So I would rather do that. And if you're going to draft a quarterback or you're going to try to make Sam Howell work, either way, I think you need an up-and-coming young offensive mind, which is Ben Johnson.
You know, it's interesting because you go back, and it's been floating around. Was it early 2000, like 2012, 2014, whenever all those guys were on the staff of Gruden there in Washington, the McVays and Shanahans and Slowick. And, you know, you think about all the offensive talent that they had in that building at one time and the success they've had in other places. And you have to really understand what the ownership group and the GM want, because what Dan Quinn does provide you is a guy that's been there. He understands what he's doing from a CEO standpoint, what he's getting into, with a young and up-and-coming coordinator getting their first head coaching job. You know, there's so many things that you have to learn about delegation and just being a head coach. What does ownership believe is the right way to go? Because if you hire a Dan Quinn, you know, I got to believe part of Dan Quinn's presentation or who he thinks he's going to get as his offensive coordinator, because I'm a defensive guy. So here's my coordinator list of the offense that I want to see. That factors in too, because it's, you know, there's so much that goes into it. At the same time, you look around at all the offensive minded head coaches and what they're doing, and you go from there. Or you get a guy like Dan Campbell. You know, he is truly the head coach with coordinators that are doing
absolutely.
You know, and do you want that? Do you want a guy that's calling plays or focused on one side of the ball more than the other?
I think what Dan Campbell did more than anything, and he's got some good coordinators, there's no question, but I think what he did more than anything was make that team believe that they were winners. I mean, you talk about going to Detroit, that was a punchline of a joke. The Detroit Lions. And Dan Campbell went in and changed the culture there and made those guys believe that they're not losers, they're winners. And I think it's, when you look at it, it's all part. And so I think you take Dan Campbell as you go, even if you criticize him for some of the decisions that he made yesterday, some of the decisions he made in Dallas with that particular football game, but you kind of take that with you go. I mean, the Detroit Lions in the NFC Championship game, and my goodness, that we can sit here and you know, criticize Dan Campbell all day long about, you know, not kicking field goals and going for it on fourth down. But the beginning of the year, anybody have that in their bingo card?
No.
That the Detroit Lions are going to be in the NFC Championship game?
Unless you're a diehard Lions fan, that dude that already had it tattooed on his body that they were going to win. And part of it says, do you live with that? Do you live with those kind of decisions made by your head coach? And if you're good with that, you go back to when you get and it's interesting how people are viewed, right? Mike McCarthy gets knocked all the time for piss poor clock management. He's not good at that. Situational football, clock management, that's not high when he gets his report card. It can't be, right?
No.
Brett Favre, gunslinger type quarterback. You lived with the interceptions because that's what he was, right? Other quarterbacks throw interceptions, and what the hell were they thinking? They need to be benched. Let's replace them with, you know, whoever, Trey Lance. You know, some quarterbacks have that Dan Campbell has that reputation. There's a high school coach, I think he's in Arkansas. This dude never punts. He goes for it on fourth down every time, right? Never punts. There was a HBO Real Sports story on him at one point. He's won a couple state championships.
Yeah.
Never punts. I got 4 downs to get there. Guy named Kevin Kelly. It's just one of those things. With Dan Campbell, do you want him to change? No. But sometimes your philosophy. Yeah, in the first half, he kicked the field goal. And it's your perception of it. Anthony Sandoval just tweeted at me, at Jason Minix, also include at Joe Reinagle 210, said, honestly, I thought he lost the game in the second quarter. He should have scored the TD going into halftime. Not aggressive enough. Told me he was signaling his team, we got this, don't have to try harder. He should have put his foot on the pedal and been more aggressive.
Huh. See, what are you going to do?
Well, I mean, we're all armchair quarterbacks the day after the game.
Of course. I mean, and, I don't know what are you going to do? I think, look, and I criticized him for continuing to go for the 2-point conversion against Dallas.
Yep.
And I didn't think he should have. He should have tied the game there. But at least the dude is consistent, right? His players have to know that. They know what they're dealing with. They know that most likely, if there's that opportunity, they're going to go for it. They're going to be aggressive. And again, I just think that he changed the mindset of that entire city, that entire football team. And I'm sure on Detroit radio right now, he's getting hammered. He's probably getting hammered by the Detroit radio guys there, and they shouldn't. He brought Detroit back to prominence.
He did.
And I think he should be applauded and congratulated for that. And if you're just going to take a couple of, look, their team blew it. He's part of that. But he's not the entire part of it.
His team blew it. His decision-making factored in. You're the head coach. And he even said, I know I'm going to get criticized for it. I'm good with that. The other story, and I just saw something on Twitter about this, and you think about Dan Campbell and the kind of guy that he is. You saw Greg Olsen. And by the way, man, it sucks that Greg Olsen is going to lose his job to Tom Brady because he is truly, right now, I think, the best analyst on TV.
I think so, too. Maybe Troy Aikman, but yes, he's right up there, sure.
But when I look at, they got caught up yesterday in the fact that there was a real live lion on the field. I don't know if this is true or not, because it's Twitter. But apparently, Dan Campbell at the beginning of the year, or at some point, asked the NFL if they could bring the live lion back to being on the sidelines for a game.
I think that's great. And that's what I mean. That kind of
there's that attitude,
bravado that he's got. And I love it. And the fact that he knows he's going to catch a lot of flack for what he did, the decisions he made, but he doesn't care. And I guarantee if they had a game tomorrow, he'd do the same thing. And I love that about him. Detroit Lions were in the NFC Championship game.
If they would have had a live lion on the field, that game would have been different.
Well, if it had been in Detroit, they would have.
No, I don't think the legal department would have okayed it.
For a live lion in Detroit?
Did you see the video that they showed?
I did.
There's a guy with a lion, and the lion's on a leash, right? One guy holding a lion.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like having Bevo down there, right? I mean,
Bevo's got handlers, but this is a lion. I remember
a lion tamer.
Baylor
got a job.
Baylor had a bear at one point. At the Naval Academy, they've got goats, but they're not lions, right? Could you imagine a live lion on the field? Oh, that was great.
I think it's great.
The fact that Greg Olsen and Kevin Burkhardt couldn't believe it.
I know it. That's nuts. Now, those guys are good. Burkhardt's good, too. So it was just a great day of football yesterday, in my mind. And watching Patrick Mahomes be Patrick Mahomes, and the guy is just he's a magician, man. And I tell you what, it's hard. You can't bet against him, can you? Even in this, San Francisco's early line opened up at 2.5 last night after the game. It's already down to 1.
Mm-hmm. It'll be a pick 'em by the time we get to Vegas.
And who knows what it ends up by the time next Sunday rolls around. I wouldn't be surprised if Kansas City was a 1 or 2 point favorite.
Well, I know Mahomes has a pretty good record when he's an underdog.
Yeah, we've seen it twice.
And we know that they have It's a rematch of what we saw down in Miami.
Yeah.
San Francisco, Kansas City.
Gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
If you're planning to go out to the Super Bowl, tickets are expensive. Wait till you hear what hotel rooms are costing
out there. Oh, my
goodness.
Yes.
We'll dive into that coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, I got a message for you that's going to change your dental game in about 60 seconds. I want to ask you a question. Are you fed up with the same old dental routine? You know what I'm talking about. The endless trips to the dentist, dealing with missing teeth, temporary fixes that never really seem to stick. Well, I've got the answer for you. It is Doctor's Implants. At Doctor's Implants, they're board-certified oral and facial surgeons. Well, they're ready to transform your smile. You can say goodbye to the frustration of traditional dentistry and welcome a brighter future. Don't let old-school dentistry hold you back any longer. Embrace your future with full-mouth dental implants at Doctor's Implants. You can check them out at doctorsimplants.com, and here's the kicker. When you give them a call at 210-640-0000, tell them I sent you, Joe Reinigle from the Blitz. You're going to get a complimentary consultation and a CT scan. Your journey to a perfect smile begins at Doctor's Implants. Call them today, 210-640-0000.
The professional football playoffs are here.
Out of the gun, back to Dak. Left side of the end zone. Touchdown.
14 teams with only one goal in sight. The big game in Las Vegas. Presented by Flight by Yingling. Hear it on your exclusive home. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
And now another no-brainer money-saving tip from Progressive.
Marcus, what happened?
I was changing my oil and I spilled some on the floor.
Oh, well, use these $50 bills to wipe it up.
Perfect. Got any more?
Yeah, take a couple hundred.
Stop. Instead of using money, use an old rag. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. But not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
It's the Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rind Appreciation Day celebration. Enter to win $5,000 cash, tailgating prizes, plus Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds when you pass the pigskin. Enter at porkrindappreciationday.com. That's porkrindappreciationday.com. And make sure to pick up the protein-packed, bold flavors of Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds today at H-E-B.
When something happens to your car, you might say,
My car.
But what you really need to say is something that can actually help.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
And just like that, State Farm is there to help you file your claim right on the State Farm mobile app. So just remember, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's BABBEL.com.
Eczema flaring up again? We have good news. Exoderm. If you or someone you love suffers from eczema or dermatitis, get Exoderm, the common sense answer for eczema. This stuff really does work. Exoderm contains the #1 doctor-recommended ingredient in a clean hypoallergenic cream with no harsh additives. Take back control of your eczema with affordable, fast-acting Exoderm Flare Control Cream. Exoderm. It's in the first aid aisle of your local Walmart, H-E-B, and other fine stores.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling and Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Show your love this Valentine's with exquisite fashion jewelry from Diamonds Direct and save an extra 20%. Now through Valentine's, all fashion favorites at Diamonds Direct are on sale. All earrings, all bracelets, all necklaces, stackable bands, colored gemstone jewelry, and more. Lots of romantic and timeless gifts for under $500. Special financing available too. Don't miss this. An extra 20% savings on all fashion jewelry favorites at Diamonds Direct. Shop in store or online at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
This is Jim Rome. Have a take, don't suck on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. KTFM Floresville.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
San Antonio Spurs riding a 2-game win streak. They got a very good shot at making it 3 tonight. Washington Wizards come to town. 7 o'clock tip-off from the Frost Bank Center. There are reports that the Cowboys have interest in Ron Rivera for defensive coordinator if Dan Quinn gets a head coaching job elsewhere. And Kellen Moore back in the NFC East. How about that? He's the offensive coordinator for those hated Philly Eagles.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons. The San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minutes.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He is Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix.
Howdy on a Monday.
Howdy on a Monday.
How about that?
Ready to howdy. Ready to rock and roll. But
Yes.
Shout out to one Greg Shelton.
Greg Shelton.
I don't know if he had anything to do with it, but our air conditioning seems to be fixed here in the studio.
Feels right nice.
Even though the contraption he brought in and left has not been plugged in yet, but it's gotten cooler here in the room.
With the nice one-finger salute. That was nice.
It was
as he walked out.
It was half a peace sign.
That's right.
Half a peace sign.
Uh-huh. Yeah, what do you expect? I always expect that. That's a sign of devotion when it comes to Greg Shelton.
See, the problem when you've got a nickname like Grumpy and a certain demeanor about yourself, it's hard to tell when you're in a bad mood and just a normal day that ends in Y.
Yeah.
I think he was in a bad mood today.
Yeah, I think so.
Being a wussy.
But nobody could tell.
I think, well, exactly, because you just don't know, and you damn sure don't want to ask him.
No.
Because we're giving him a hard time, and it's the heck with y'all then.
Well, he was trying so gracefully to be quiet, and he was making more noise.
Graceful and Greg Shelton do not go together.
No, graceful Greg and grumpy Greg.
Yeah, it's definitely grumpy.
Yeah. Oh, good Lord. Let's do the headline blitz. Maybe.
This is Jason and Joe's Headline Blitz. 2 guys, 2 opinions, never enough time.
A week from today, we will be live in Las Vegas. Our AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage, powered by Synergenics and Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, will be underway. Next Monday night, we'll have opening night at Allegiant Stadium, which I'm excited about.
I am too.
So often, opening night, they have it in other places. It's been a while since we've done opening night at the actual stadium where the game is going to be played. In LA, what did they do it in LA? It was at the it's Staples Center.
Yeah.
Or crypto.com.
And then last year in Phoenix was
at the basketball arena.
Well,
it's because the football stadium in Glendale is so far away, and SoFi, even though it's fairly close, it will take you 3 hours to get there. So, I like the fact that next week opening night will be at Allegiant Stadium.
That's going to be a lot of fun. It was a blast last year, and just seeing all the celebrities walking around and people that and the players, it's going to be great.
Yeah, and that will be our chance
Taylor Swift? Will she?
No,
she won't be there. She's in Japan.
Yeah,
right? I
she'll
heard
be
the
in
guys
Japan.
this morning.
Yeah,
Yes.
she'll make the game, but she won't be there during our Radio Row coverage.
That's too bad.
You're right, because the beauty is even Taylor Swift wouldn't create quite the ruckus. I mean, because the number of celebrities that are going to be there.
I think Taylor Swift would cause a ruckus.
To a degree, but I mean, there's always somewhere. So unless she was within 100 feet of you, I don't know that you would notice.
Yeah.
From that standpoint. So we'll see. But I look at the celebrities, the fact that it's going to be at the stadium. If you're trying to get out there, and I tell people all the time, even if you don't go to the game, go to Super Bowl City because it's incredible.
It is.
Get in on Wednesday night or early Thursday morning, and depending on the parties you're trying to get to or events, leave late Saturday night or early Sunday morning, and you'll have a hell of a time to get there. If that is your philosophy for Vegas and you haven't booked your stuff yet, you're either you're screwed, or you're stupid rich, or you've won the lottery, which has made you stupid rich, because the hotel prices have just gone through the roof in the last couple of weeks.
Unbelievable.
I mean, I think about, we booked our place a while ago, and we got an Airbnb. We're not even staying at a resort. A friend of mine, and I don't know if he's now going since his Ravens lost, was able to get a room. I don't know. I think it was like $400 a night at a reasonable place.
That's not bad.
No. Now a lot of times, because it's Super Bowl, you've got to, Thursday to Monday or Saturday. I mean, long bookings that are guaranteed. The Excalibur right now is going for $600 a night.
The Excalibur. Wow.
Where a lot of times the resort fee might cost you more than the room fee.
Yeah. The Excalibur. I've been in there one time and didn't really want to go back. The Excalibur. If the Excalibur is that, can you imagine places like Caesar's Palace or the Bellagio or one of those swanky places? I can't even imagine what they're charging.
Well, and again, they're doing the multiple nights. But yeah, Aria, if you can find a room, that's the other part. If you can find a room, their available inventory is limited, and at the same time, outrageous, because they know they're going to be able to get them.
Yeah.
Caesars right now, cheapest room at Paris, $1632.56 with taxes and fees
per night. Or is that that's got to be?
Well, it says Saturday check-in, Monday exit. So I don't know if that's $1,600 a night or total for Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night.
Wow.
And it's going up from there. So hopefully, if you're planning to go, you've already booked a room.
Yeah, hopefully so.
There's no extra room at our place if you're thinking you're just going to pack a bag and crash with the Blitz crew.
Was that Ravens fan you spoke of a few minutes ago? Was the guy that got upset with the Dak Prescott Jr. comment?
Yes.
Wonder how he feels about that today.
I'm not even texting him.
I'm just wondering.
Not even texting him. I don't know what you're doing, Pledge. Oh, yeah, no, I'd leave him alone right now. I'm curious, are you going to go or try to sell your tickets?
Yeah. Nah, I don't know. If your team is in the game, I could see going. But if you're a football fan, and I can't wait to watch this Super Bowl, I want to watch it on TV. I'm happy we're going to be out there, but where media seats are, you need about a 5-ton binocular to see anything.
A 5-ton binocular?
Well, what? The 5 XXT triple laser beam. Yeah.
Laser beams.
All of that stuff.
You don't even know what binoculars are.
I do know what binoculars are. What the hell? Everybody knows what binoculars are.
Well, I don't know if tonnage is a proper binocular term, and certainly not with laser beams.
Well, the point I'm making was being sarcastic.
You need a telescope.
And then, because the seats are way up there.
And that's if you're in the building. Sometimes the media seats are in a building across the street.
That's exactly right.
I have told people, and I know it sounds arrogant to say this, and to a degree it is, because I've been fortunate enough to go to a Super Bowl or two.
Yeah.
I would rather watch it on TV.
Yes.
People say, because we come home Saturday from our Radio
Right.
Row experience. Oh, you don't stay for the game? No. If you've never experienced the Super Bowl, go do it. Put it on the bucket list.
Yep.
I don't plan on ever going to another Super Bowl game unless my Dallas Cowboys are in it.
So you don't plan on going ever again?
Just idiot. I do plan every year. I plan on it every year. I've got a credit card reserved just for that. Right. Just whatever it takes when they make it again, because I'm optimistic, Joe. When they make it again, I don't care what it's going to cost. We're going. And when I say we're, my wife and I.
Well, of course. But you got to figure unless it's after you retire from this business, you'll be there anyway. And I'll say the same thing. I mean, I would love the Cowboys to be there.
Yes.
How much fun next week would be?
Yes.
If the Cowboys were there, it'd be great.
Yes.
But they're not.
They're not. They're not.
So hopefully it's sometime before you retire.
But going to Super Bowl City is worth every penny.
Absolutely.
And the experience. But for your game watching, because those games, think about how long it is in your living room, and you're not really paying attention to time because you're eating, you're drinking, you've got the party going on, you got everything. When you're at the game, man, those commercial breaks are forever.
They are a long time, yes.
The concessions are more expensive than normal.
Well, and halftime is like forever because of the musical thing.
Well, it's a 10-hour day.
Yeah.
And that's for fans.
Oh, yeah.
The security getting in, all of it. I mean, and certainly worth it if your team is there.
Well, and they always have in the convention center, I don't know what they call it, but where you have all the interactive games and stuff, where you can go through there and look at it, and that's really cool.
That's a blast.
Yeah.
Fan fest.
Yes. That what they call it?
Sure.
Plus, we always spend $1 bazillion you have a nice little
in the store?
In the store
yes.
there, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're proud of their stuff.
NFL shop is very expensive.
Yeah, they're very proud of it.
And the stuff that you can get there is different than the stuff that's online.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, and you've got was that from last year?
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
All right. See, I didn't get a half zip either trip that I've been with you guys. So I may have to be on the list this year.
The hard part for me is, like, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see the one that I'm wearing now, is I always find just with the Super Bowl logo, and I try to find one with the city on it. This one didn't have it because I don't want teams on it.
Right.
I'm not wearing any other team. And I'm sure as hell not wearing anything with San Francisco.
Yeah. James Pledger, I saw him all Kansas City decked out yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's cheating on his Texans out in public.
In Houston, for goodness sake.
Yes.
Wow.
There's no loyalty to that Texans team from James Pledger.
In Houston, he's wearing Kansas City gear.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Cheating on her in the
open.
in
front of her.
Not even trying to keep it quiet and on the side. He's put the side chick in the front seat, introduced her to friends, wearing the shirt. I mean, he is all Kansas City from here on out.
I know.
Yes.
I know.
Yes. He's taking that wedding. Nothing, right? You got nothing, right? You're not going to wear Texan stuff for the next 2 weeks, will you?
Yeah, well.
Oh.
I was supporting my friends.
You're supporting your side chick team that actually wins.
No. Their Super Bowl wins don't hit the same as it would if Houston ever.
You're gonna. Well, I mean, you have no idea what it would be like if Houston.
Well, I know what a Longhorn national championship feels like, so I kind of got a grasp of it.
That was 2005.
It was, and I remember what the Rocket championships were like in the 90s. Like, I remember those initial feelings.
Yeah.
Kansas City winning didn't prompt those same feelings.
I'll be rooting for whichever team I decide to put my money on. That's the team I'm rooting for. Because quite frankly, it's not going to affect my life either way. Unless it puts money in my pocket.
I'm glad you keep everything on that level.
Well, of course.
Let's talk about that NFC Championship game coming up. Ross Tucker, who was doing sidelines for Westwood One Radio, the national radio broadcast, will join us coming up at 3:30 to talk about the AFC Championship game and his encounter with Taylor Swift on the sidelines.
How about that?
It really happened.
Wow.
Ross Tucker at 3:30. We'll talk about Dan Campbell and his decision-making next here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star.
I got to tell you about my good friends at Parkhurst New Vision. And I can say that because I really feel like they are, and I think they feel the same way. Look, I had lens replacement surgery months ago, and you talk about something that completely changes your life. Lens replacement surgery did for me. That's for sure. I no longer need glasses, no longer need readers. I can read menus, I can read magazines, whatever it is. And it's just incredible to have that kind of freedom now. And in fact, my results were so good. My wife, Maggie, had her eyes done, and she is loving the results as well. Look, they can change your life just like they did mine and Maggie's. All you have to do is take that first step and call Parkhurst New Vision, 210-585-2020. You can check them out online at sanantoniolasig.com. When you call 210-585-2020, you set up a consultation. You go in there, and first thing you're going to do is tell them Joe Reinagle from the Blitz sent you over there. Second thing you're going to do is have your list of questions ready. Any question, any concern that you have, let them know, and they will talk you through it. Parkhurst New Vision, best in the business. Get started today. Call them, 210-585-2020.
The professional football playoffs are here.
Out of the gun, back to Dak. Left side of the end zone. Touchdown.
14 teams with only one goal in sight. The big game in Las Vegas. Presented by Flight by Yingling. Hear it on your exclusive home. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, Mark, remember, getting help from Progressive is so easy. You can use the mobile app, chat with us online, or call us.
And you pick now to tell me.
I couldn't miss Little Grace's ballet recital. Oh, thanks for inviting me, by the way.
Did I?
Because you know I'm always here for you.
Yeah. I can use the mobile app if I need help. Sorry, you're in my wife's seat, though.
Oh, yeah, I gotta go anyway. Tell Grace she nailed her chassé.
Get the help you need from Progressive with our mobile app, online chat, or over the phone. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
On job sites, few things are more important than a solid work boot. At Boot Barn Work, we pride ourselves on knowing that no matter your trade, when there's hard work to be done, your boot should be built for non-stop protection and mobility. Thorogood checks all the boxes. Their Wear Anywhere boots are time-tested and crafted with the highest quality materials for relentless support. For job-fitted boots, Thorogood at Boot Barn Work.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Go to nomoredraftywindows.com for full offer details.
Attention all homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? It's time to replace. Fog between the glass. Time to replace. Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace. If you've put off replacing windows in your home because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. And right now, you can save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. Just text RENEWAL to 200-300 for your free consultation on top-quality affordable windows or patio doors for no dollars down, no payments, and no interest for a year. That's right. You don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus, save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month. Text RENEWAL to 200-300 right now. Text the word RENEWAL to 200-300. Don't wait. Text RENEWAL to 200-300.
Over the past decade, the Roo Pub has proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. Football, basketball, all the UFC fights. And when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Celebrating 10 years in business, the Roo Pub is next to the Angry Elephant there at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo. Jason Minix here. Guys, your testosterone levels start to decline in your 30s. If you're feeling a lack of energy and drive, it could be caused by low T. Get your levels tested at Synergenics. They make it quick and easy, and with the convenience of their on-site lab, you'll get your results back at your first visit. At Synergenics, you will get customized care from testosterone specialists. Conquer your New Year's resolutions. Go to fixmylowt.com to book online. That's fixmylowt.com. It is the Blitz here on 94.1, San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. Man, I did some beef ribs yesterday. Let me rephrase that. I did a beef rib yesterday. Same as doing a 3-bone plate process. Still takes 8 hours, but still 3.5 pounds. It is fantastic. If you did some grilling this weekend, make sure you upload photos of what was on your grill to sasportstar.com, the Grilling with the Blitz page. Every Thursday, we judge that meat and give away a $50 gift card to Tri-County Meat Market.
Second favorite day of the week.
Yes, sir.
Judging meat.
Judging meat.
Yep.
Always good times. So, San Francisco, an incredible comeback, major choke job by Detroit, however you want to couch it. San Francisco was the best team in the NFC all season long, and they're going to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
On the flip side, Baltimore, probably the best team in the AFC. They're not, and it's rare that you get 2 1 seeds in a Super Bowl, so no surprise there. But how San Francisco got there, whether we're all blaming Dan Campbell or just San Francisco scoring with every possession they had in the second half. When they had to make plays, Brock Purdy was making plays. And what was impressive to me about Brock Purdy yesterday, and I know, he had that one off the face mask. I mean, that incredible plays happen in big games, but he made some big-time throws. But I was more impressed with his runs. He had 49 rushing yards in the second half.
And they were all big, all for first downs, and they were all big. And I hope, and you listen to some national shows and you hear a variety of opinions, but I hope this guy starts to get a little bit of respect. I mean, he's not a system quarterback. I don't even know what that means. The guy is a winner. He wins. And I think that, he needs to get some respect for that. Now, look, if San Francisco goes in and beats Patrick Mahomes, then I think he has to. If they lose, he probably won't.
I think a big part of Brock Purdy, so many of these other teams, your quarterback's your best player. And with San Francisco, he's not. It's Debo, it's Christian McCaffrey, it's Ayuk, it's the defense. But Brock Purdy's making it go. Every quarterback is a system quarterback. And I know people hate to hear that, or they try to, it's not, I mean, look, Kyle Shanahan was in a Super Bowl a couple of years ago against these same Chiefs with Jimmy Garoppolo. And they let Jimmy Garoppolo go. Brock Purdy beat him out. They brought in Sam Darnold. Brock Purdy beat him out. He belongs, but in game manager, depending on how you're using it, can be a bad thing, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. First half yesterday, Patrick Mahomes was great. Second half, he was more of a game manager as they closed out the win. But Brock Purdy, and it's strange because in the first half, he was 7 of 15 for 93 yards and had that interception. In the second half, he was a different guy.
Yeah.
You go back a week ago, he wasn't great at all against Green Bay.
Not at all.
But in that final drive, when he had to be, and he had to make plays, he did. The running plays, I think, is what surprised most people of what he did yesterday in the second half. Those big runs.
They were all huge.
I don't think many expected that.
No, and they were all huge, and he didn't slide. I mean, this guy, did you see a lot of those runs? I mean, he's going head first.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's smart. Maybe shouldn't do it. But, I mean, it just shows the fact that he knew what he needed to get, and he wasn't going to slide and come up short. And I think San Francisco, I think the players there respect him. I think they appreciate the fact that he's their quarterback. And look, it's going to be good. And Brock Purdy, like it or not, is going to the Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson is not. Josh Allen is not. Jared Goff is not. Brock Purdy is. I think he deserves a little respect.
And if he wins it,
then he certainly deserves a lot of respect.
I mean, it is kind of wild when you look at the quarterback matchup. Patrick Mahomes against Brock Purdy.
Yeah. I mean, that's a storyline in itself, right? But Patrick Mahomes, I mean, that's another thing we'll get into. I know when we talk to Ross Tucker coming up here in just a minute, but that guy is just on a different level. I mean, he's on a different level than every other quarterback in the NFL. He just is.
You think about this road to the Super Bowl for Kansas City, which has got to be part of the reason why it hurts more, maybe, if you're a Ravens fan, that you aren't going this year, or a Bills fan, because he had to go on the road with probably the least amount of talent around him offensively, albeit he's playing with the best defense that he's ever had there in Kansas City. But on the offensive side, with what we saw during the regular season, and it's weird to say this about Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and the Chiefs, but this is an unexpected Super Bowl appearance based on what we saw in the regular season.
Yeah, that number 87 deserves a lot of credit, too. That guy was sensational yesterday. Travis Kelce. That guy was unbelievable. He was just – and those two guys just have a magic together that is incredible.
Let's talk more about that. Ross Tucker was doing sidelines for the national radio broadcast yesterday that was live here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. He's going to join us next. We'll talk about the game and his interactions with Taylor Swift on the sideline yesterday. He says it happens.
I'm a Swiftie.
Yeah,
I'm jealous.
Well, the fact that she actually said to Ross Tucker, "I know you."
Really?
That's what he says.
Wow, well, I got to get the story.
I saw that on Twitter this morning.
All right.
We'll find out. Ross Tucker next here on The Blitz. You know, nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. If you get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast, best way to do that, call my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747, or you can start the bonding process online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what those conditions are before accepting it. Your best option for stress-free bail bonds is AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody has better prices. They have payment plans available, a free shuttle service. They're discreet and confidential and open 24/7. If you're up in Dallas, down in Corpus, anywhere in between, license number 149, call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121, or go online at mybestbailbonds.com.
The NFL playoffs are here.
Read all about it, baby. One last drive.
Wild card, divisional, conference championship, and Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. Hear it on your exclusive home for the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-385-9302 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-385-9302. That's 800-385-9302. What do you have to lose? Call 800-385-9302. Again, 800-385-9302.
QC Kinetics patient Robert Patterson, a veteran and business owner, struggled at work and in the gym with chronic agonizing shoulder pain.
Those injuries just continue to nag, and if you don't treat them, they just get worse. And I just kind of abused my body for a long time, and it finally had said enough is enough.
That's okay, because QC Kinetics tells your pain, hey, enough is enough. Their regenerative treatments bring you relief by helping restore and repair damaged tissue with no drugs, no downtime, and best of all, no surgery.
I was able to exceed the goals that I had previously attained in the gym. It was absolutely worth its weight in gold, so I could continue to live life without limitation.
Ready to get lasting relief from your joint pain? Call QC Kinetics to learn more about how natural biologic treatments can get you lasting results. Call now. It's a free consultation.
210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Some people just know there's a better way to do things, like bundling your home and auto insurance with Allstate, or hiring someone to move your piano instead of doing it yourself. So, do things the better way. Bundle home and auto and save up to 25% with Allstate.
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum available savings off the home policy. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hi, I'm attorney Steve Benke. If you've made the decision to divorce, you need an experienced attorney who can help. I've helped many people get through divorce, custody, child support, and alimony problems. Call me. I'm attorney Steve Benke.
210-DIVORCE or go to BenkeLaw.com.
Listen to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star on your Amazon or Google smart speaker and just say, Alexa, play 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Yeah, Alexa, do that. It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. A week from today, we'll be live in Las Vegas for our AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage, powered by Centergenics and Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. Kansas City, San Francisco, meeting in Las Vegas.
Wow.
For Super Bowl 58. Kansas City went on the road and upset Baltimore. Ross Tucker was on the national radio call yesterday. Joins us now on the Buyers Barricades guest line. Ross, I don't know what you're more excited about based on Twitter. Do you want to talk about the game or meeting Taylor Swift after?
Well, that was the third time I met Taylor Swift, so okay. I would say probably. I guess if it's the third time, it's not meeting her. It's the third time I've talked to Taylor Swift, so I can talk about whatever you want to talk about. I want to know about the barricade You guys have a barricades advertiser? Tell me about that.
Buyers barricades. You think about road construction, which if you've ever been in San Antonio, you realize it's always under construction.
Always.
All those things on the highway to keep you from driving in certain areas. That's a very competitive business.
Interesting.
And you can rent them.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? The only place I would ever go, Jason, for my barricades is Buyers Barricades.
See, there you go.
So
You're a smart guy.
I just want everybody out there to know, like, if I get a barricade for my driveway or whatever, I'm going to go to the best. I'm going to go to Buyers Barricades in San Antonio and have them bring it up.
See what
you know what? I might even meet them in person, Jay. I didn't tell you. I am coming down there in April for a bar mitzvah or a bat mitzvah. I'm coming into town in April, so I might have to get some restaurant recommendations.
Well, we could do that and some places to go get some beer. And I think about for you, your place up there, see what you could do is you can get some stuff from Buyers Barricades that will keep people from going from the main house to your back studio. So you could like put some barrels out there or some guards to keep people away from your beer fridge.
Barrels?
How do you even know how do you even know my setup like that? Now you're weirding me out. Now I might need a barricade.
Because I know you well enough, which is why you need a barricade, but I've heard you humbly brag about that before.
Yeah, it's a pretty good setup. The guy that we got the house from had like a wood shop, and I'm not much of a carpenter myself, so we turned it into a studio.
You guys can talk barricades and carpenter stuff and beer. I want to know about Taylor Swift. All right. I mean, you keep pushing this down the road. Now, what did you guys talk about, Ross?
It was literally 30 seconds. She is from, I probably told you guys this before, but she's from my small hometown, Eastern Pennsylvania. It's called Wyomissing, Pennsylvania. It's an hour west of Philadelphia. And so I'm pretty friendly with her dad. And I talked to Taylor a couple times before, but I actually looked it up today because I was curious. It was 2007 and 2015. So I talked to her about every 8 years. And so I just happened to be, because I was doing the sideline for Western One next to the Chiefs stage, and I get a chance to interview Andy Reid as well as Patrick Mahomes. So as I'm waiting there, she comes out there. She's there, and obviously she has significant security detail as she needs. And I'm really close to her, and I'm just thinking, I got to say something to her. Like I talked to her dad a decent amount of time. So I think I came up with something pretty good. I found the picture on my phone of her dad with my daughters at her concert in May in Philly. And so I showed her the picture, and I said, Taylor, I'm Ross Tucker from Wyomissing, and I'm pretty good friends with your dad. And she looks at me, and she goes, oh, yeah, I know you. And I missed the golden opportunity to say back to her, I know you.
That is awesome.
That's great.
Ross Tucker.
And then she was with Kelsey's parents. And I've had Ed on my show before, so I started talking to him. I'm like, Ed, what's up, man? Ross, he's like, man, I thought you looked familiar, but I didn't recognize you with the hat on. I said, well, it was raining out here. Then everybody gets a luxury box, so I had a hat on for the game.
Ross Tucker joining us here on the Blitz. He's friends with Taylor Swift. He also does a lot of national radio shows and was on the sidelines yesterday. And you think about what you saw yesterday from the Baltimore Ravens. Was that Lamar Jackson and the Ravens not ready for the moment, not ready for the big stage?
No, I don't think I would say that. I thought it was more, I felt like they were outcoached. I really did. I mean, I thought early on, Andy Reid was ahead of Mike McDonald, the excellent D coordinator for the Ravens. And kudos to McDonald, by the way, because he figured it out. But after those first two drives, the Chiefs totally were controlling the action. They went for 2 touchdowns. I mean, you know, that was pretty impressive. But then the Ravens settled in. But then on the other side of the ball, I don't know if it's because the Chiefs were controlling the time of possession or if it was because, you know, they were down 2 scores, but the Ravens totally got away from what they've been. Totally got away from what they were all year. I mean, they didn't have a game all year with less than like 13 carries, I think, for their running backs. They had 6 yesterday. Really, really surprising. And I didn't think they needed to get that far away from it as early as they did.
Ross, I've got to ask you, down there on the sidelines, when you're watching Patrick Mahomes play and the connection that he has with Travis Kelce, I thought yesterday those 2 guys were just unstoppable. What is that like being down there and watching that and seeing how those 2 guys operate and the connection that they have?
It's unbelievable because you're there and you're thinking everybody knows who's going to get the ball. And they still get him the ball, and he still makes the play. Those guys, first of all, I mean, I know you guys are around my age or whatever. Anytime you break any record of Jerry Rice's, that is insane.
Yes.
I mean, think about that. Kelce broke a record of Jerry Rice's yesterday, and Patrick Mahomes is having a better start to his career than Brady. I mean, it's just absolutely insane what they've been able to do. Truly, truly impressive. And, yeah, it's just, you know, I'm kind of like other people. I like seeing fresh blood in the Super Bowl because as a former player, I like to see different guys get the opportunity. But I also really appreciate greatness because you know how hard it is. Ask the Cowboys or this year the Eagles or it is the Buffalo Bills. It's hard to win playoff games. And for the Chiefs to win as many as they do, it's super impressive.
Ross Tucker joining us here on the Blitz. He was the sideline reporter for Westwood One's national radio broadcast that we had here on 94.1 yesterday. And one of the great things about when you're listening to the games on radio, the post-game on-field interviews, a little bit more in-depth, a little bit longer than what you see the 1 or 2 questions on television. Your interview with Andy Reid after the game, was there a sense of relief from him as he is going back to yet another Super Bowl?
You know, I don't know. I don't know that it was a sense of relief. He just seemed really happy. And honestly, he also, I think the fact that he did it on the road, I think that meant something to him because it felt like, you know, it really felt like that they were in a spot where people weren't believing in them this year. And people really didn't think they'd be able to do it on the road. And then they go out and they do it. The win at Buffalo and at Baltimore, super, super impressive. I mean, this is the most impressive run the Chiefs have had to the playoffs.
You know, Ross, I've got to ask you a question because Baltimore, and you touched on it a little bit, they did some things yesterday that they hadn't done in the past. But one of the things that really stuck out to me was there were times they were very undisciplined. I mean, some silly penalties. And I know that Flowers is a rookie, and I'll give him a little bit of a break, but they really seemed nervous is not the right word, but I mean, just undisciplined at times.
No question about it. Yeah, absolutely no question about it. And it doesn't seem like Brady and Belichick all over again. It's like when the Patriots were beating teams in the playoffs, every team would be like, oh, if only Lee Evans caught the ball, or if only if Cundiff made the field goal. Well, now that's where you're at. You know, it's like, oh, if you know, Tyler Bass for the Bills made the field goal, or if Zay Flowers didn't fumble, but like they do. And the other team goes on to lose the game, make the mistakes, and the Chiefs win. Like they're the new Belichick and Brady. They really are. Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. And the critical errors that the Ravens made, not only the 3 turnovers, but the stupid penalties. Van Noy was horrible, absolutely horrible. That penalty to Zay Flowers taunting, just bad.
Ross Tucker here on the Blitz. Kansas City going to the Super Bowl where they're going to face San Francisco. You mentioned at the beginning of the interview that you thought Kansas City outcoached Baltimore in that game. Coaching matters. I'm curious your thoughts, even though you weren't at that game. I'm sure you were watching it as you're traveling back home last night. The decision-making from Dan Campbell.
Yeah, I mean, the running the ball on 3rd down under 2 minutes and they got stuffed and had to use, that's inexcusable error. Unacceptable in my mind. You cannot run the ball in that situation because if you get stuffed, then you have to use a timeout and then you essentially have to get the onside kick, which is a really low percentage play. So that is really, really bad. The field goals we can have a discussion about. I guess I would just say not all 4th down decisions are created equal, meaning I'm pretty surprised. Like, even if you get that first one they went for, there's still a pretty good chance that you kick a field goal on that drive. So is it really worth it? And even if you do get the touchdown, you're still only up 3 scores. Whereas if you go for it and don't get it, then you're only up 2 scores. And then late in the game, when you don't have it, I think you have to tie the game at that point. I really do. And I like the aggressiveness. I like the guys are going for it more on 4th down. But, man, oh, man, I just feel like there's certain situations where you don't just look at it and it says 4th and 2 at the 30-yard line, you should go for it. I think the context of the game matters a lot.
You know, you think about that and, you know, all the articles that are being written about Dan Campbell today and that decision. I'm curious how at my front page story you would get creative to memorialize that moment.
You know what? I'm more focused on Valentine's Day for your listeners at myfrontpagestory.com because my buddy started the company. By far the best Valentine's Day gift I've ever heard of. You literally either fill out an email that has 5 questions or you talk to one of their writers for 10 minutes while you're driving home from work or whatever. Tell them how great your significant other is. They write the most unbelievable story. I mean, it's awesome. It looks like it's at the cover of the newspaper, beautiful, framed. And just to be able to say to her, hey, I want to do something special for you. So I had a story written about you. It's just so cool. And then make sure, if you guys do, anybody listening, if you do it, make sure you give them this quote. I just never thank her enough for all the little things she does. Even if you can't think of anything she does,
nice.
Just say that because they cry every time when they see that line. It is remarkable. myfrontpagestory.com, myfrontpagestory.com. It's awesome.
Make sure you go there, myfrontpagestory.com. Follow Ross on Twitter at Ross Tucker NFL. Listen to his podcast. I trust we'll see you in Vegas next week, my friend.
Yeah, sounds great. Looking forward to it.
Appreciate it. Ross Tucker joining us here on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond. Online at buyersbarricades.com. And it's just going to be the debate. And I think Ross couched it a great way when it comes to Dan Campbell and his decision-making. Not all 4th downs are created equal. You have a philosophy, but making the right football decision in the right moment is key there. And you know, what if they pick up that first, if John Jay's Josh Reynolds makes that catch, if they're facing another 4th down, are they going for it or do you end up kicking the field goal there?
You know, it's a great question we'll never know the answer to, but I would assume, depending on what it is, that he goes for it. Look, he's consistent, if nothing else. And I get, you know, you should have done this and you should have done that. But I'm going to go back to if Reynolds catches that ball, who knows what that drive turns out to be. And if nothing else, it's going to take 2 or 3 more minutes off the clock that San Francisco doesn't have it. And so I don't I don't fault Dan Campbell for that. I know a lot of people do, and I'm kind of in the minority when it comes to Dan Campbell on his decisions. Now, the running down there where you got to take a timeout, I get all of that. That was not the smartest thing in the world. But the aggression on fourth down, I've got no problem with it.
You know, and I'll go back to what were you in the moment before the fourth down play was run? And for me, it was kick the field goal. This is a mistake. And then, of course, they didn't convert the pass. They turned it over on downs. So if in the moment you were down with what Dan Campbell was doing, stay with that because that is Dan Campbell. In the moment, I thought it was a bad decision the first time, especially after I saw him kick the field goal at the end of the first half to go up 17 instead of trying to punch it in to go up 21. I was more surprised, I think, that he kicked the field goal there than he didn't on that fourth down just to go up 3 scores in a championship game. And then when you had a chance to tie the game, you, in my mind, tie the game up because if they score, all right, now you just have to match score. You're not chasing that 2-possession score. You see what I mean?
I see exactly what you mean, and you make a good case for it. On the other hand, you pick up the fourth down there, you score, you take the lead. So, I mean, there are trains of thought. And the one where Josh Reynolds missed, and I'm trying to remember, that would have been about a 45, 46-yard field goal, right?
Makeable.
I don't know. Their kicker is
sure.
And Dan Campbell does, and he knows all of that. So I don't know if that factored into it at all or not. But, I don't have a problem with what he did on the aggressive nature going for it on fourth down.
I will say this. The second time that would have tied the game would have been a much longer field goal.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that was. The other one, very makeable, especially for the kicker that they have. So I don't know. Like the second one, we could tie this up. This would be a really long field goal. Maybe, but I mean, weather was good. It's not like it was rainy, sloppy. It's not like it was overly windy. But if you're Dan Campbell, what I appreciate more than anything is Dan Campbell sounding like Dan Campbell and being true to himself after the game. No regrets.
I just felt really good about us converting and getting our momentum and not letting them play long ball. They were bleeding the clock out. That's what they do. And I wanted to get the upper hand back. And it's easy hindsight, and I get it. I get that. But I don't regret those decisions. And that's hard because, we didn't come through. It wasn't able to work out, but I don't. And I understand the scrutiny I'll get. That's part of the gig, man. But it just didn't work out.
I just think that those players that he's coaching and what he's done for that football team, they love him. And they go through a wall for this guy. And I think him having the confidence in those guys at that particular moment, I think means everything. And I would assume that those players feel badly because they didn't convert.
Oh,
Josh Reynolds has got to feel terrible right now. I mean, he's got to. And just because you let everybody down, and this is not just on Josh Reynolds, and I don't want it to sound that way, but I appreciate the aggressiveness. I appreciate the faith he puts in his players, and I've got no problem with it. He's got a lot to learn about being a head coach. I think there are some times where he's going to have to make that decision. But what he did yesterday on the fourth down calls, I got no problem with it, and I appreciate what he's doing.
It'll be interesting in future years to see how he handles situations.
Mm-hmm.
And Dan Campbell, I mean, it's been his philosophy. Was it the right decision? It didn't work out. So it's easy to say no. If Dan Campbell is honest there, and I think he is.
Yeah.
No regrets. Those calls aren't going to keep him up at night.
No.
Josh Reynolds, he's gonna have flashbacks of those drops for the rest of his life.
Absolutely.
If I'm Josh Reynolds, I've turned off my phone. I'm changing my number.
Yeah.
I'm finding a beach somewhere and I'm getting away.
Yeah.
Because man, those drops. Wow.
It magnifies it though, right? When you drop it in that situation. Josh Reynolds has made a lot of great catches this year.
He has.
And he's helped that football team tremendously. obviously everybody's watching. It's magnified when you drop a pass in that situation.
I mean, think about this. Jackie Smith
yes,
dropped a pass in the end zone from Roger Staubach in a Super Bowl before most of us were born.
Yeah.
And we know Jackie Smith for one reason.
Yes.
One.
And Jackie Smith was a pretty good tight end for the St. Louis Cardinals at that time.
And, well, at the time he dropped it, he was with the Cowboys.
Well, right.
Yes.
But he made his name with the Cardinals. Yes.
Roger Staubach has said on this program before, he's still mad, but also tries to cover his teammates. So, everybody forgets that was in the second quarter. We had plenty of time. But Josh Reynolds, Patrick Creighton. Why do we know Patrick Creighton's name, this many years later? For those two drops, one easy drop and another one where he alligator armed in a game against the New York Giants with the team that many thought the Cowboys could go. Those drops, and I love Josh Reynolds, but man, that's going to be hard for him to overcome. Harder than it will be for Dan Campbell because Dan Campbell, I think, is going to be able to sleep just fine with his decisions. Although his owners and GM might say, next time maybe we kick the field goal there.
I'm sure he's going to have a meeting with those guys and figure out what they're going to do.
Situational decision making is key.
He would have been a genius if Reynolds hangs on to that football. They make it and they keep the ball. So
it's all the jokes on Twitter yesterday. Dan Campbell's the guy that hits on 18 at blackjack.
I know. I saw that. I've seen people put clown faces on him and all of that kind of stuff. And that I love the guy. I do. And I have no problem with what he did yesterday in the going forward on fourth down.
It's the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Stevens Roofing. It's the one name in roofing that stands high above the rest. And, we've had that big rainstorm. I know they've forecast for more rain to come in. You want to make sure that your roof is all done right and it's where it should be. And Stevens Roofing is a company you need to call because, Stevens Roofing actually means comfort. It means confidence. It means peace of mind, protection for all of the things you love. Like if you're in the market for repairs, a replacement roof, or an upgrade, work with the experienced team that brings local roots, value, and a vast knowledge of their craft to every job. Work with Stevens Roofing. They provide roofing in both commercial and residential, a wide variety of materials for all of South Texas. Stevens Roofing, give them a call, 210-785-0994. You can also reach them online at stevensroofing.net. Call Stevens Roofing. Make sure that roof is up to par. The number to call, 210-785-0994.
It's R&R in the morning.
Tuesday on Rob and RJ, the Spurs, did they stack 3 consecutive wins? Did the Wizards offer what was needed? We'll look at what went down. And are we getting more minutes from Victor now?
The Super Bowl is on its way. Kansas City, San Francisco, who will win? Mahomes, Purdy, and how do Dallas Cowboys factor into it all? We will tell you. Get the coffee, get the donuts. We'll see you at 6 a.m.
It's your wake-up call. R&R in the morning, 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When a cold keeps you up, try NyQuil Severe Honey Flavor. The nighttime, sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever, Honeylicious, best sleep with a cold medicine. Powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a dreamy honey taste to give your body the rest it needs to get that cold gone. Wake up refreshed, feeling relieved after enjoying the delicious flavor of NyQuil Severe Honey. NyQuil Severe Honey Flavor, use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hurt in a wreck? Get George. Hit by an 18-wheeler or commercial truck? Get George. Injured at work? Get George. When you're dealing with personal injury, you need to get George because George gets justice. I'm George Salinas, and my San Antonio-based firm has been recognized across the state of Texas and the United States. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com.
Eczema flaring up again? We have good news.
Exoderm. If you or someone you love suffers from eczema or dermatitis, get Exoderm, the common sense answer for eczema. This stuff really does work. Exoderm contains the #1 doctor-recommended ingredient in a clean hypoallergenic cream with no harsh additives. Take back control of your eczema with affordable, fast-acting Exoderm Flare Control Cream. Exoderm. It's in the first aid aisle of your local Walmart, H-E-B, and other fine stores.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
At Granger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call quickgranger.com or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Lowe's knows pros want savings now. That's why, as an MVP's Pro Rewards member, you get volume savings on orders of $1,500 or more at the Pro Desk. And there's more. We've lowered our prices on select top products like electrical wire and drywall, so you can get the job necessities for less. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. In-store only. Exclusions, restrictions, and more terms apply. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
They're local, they're San Antonio, and they know sports. They're R&R in the morning, KTFM Floresville, and SASportsStar.com. San Antonio's Sports Center.
Still 2 head coaching vacancies left, Seattle and Washington. But the Eagles have a new offensive coordinator. His name is Kellen Moore. Remember him? He's back in the NFC East. Now, there are reports that the Cowboys have interest in former Washington head coach Ron Rivera for their defensive coordinator should Dan Quinn get one of those vacant head coaching positions. And the Spurs look for 3 straight when they take on the Wizards tonight, 7 o'clock tip.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the 3rd time in 7 seasons. The San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix.
Happy Monday, everybody.
The Super Bowl is set.
Man, and yesterday was great. Both of those football games were just fantastic, obviously. But, man, we only have one left.
Why do you want to bring the room down?
Well, and I say that because I don't usually watch Saturday Night Live.
Uh-huh.
But I just happened to watch a little bit of it the other night.
Okay.
And they had a whole skit. It was the CBS crew, Tony Romo, Jim Nantz, making fun of them, and then and they were talking about that. Like, what are we going to do on Sundays? It's almost over. And so I thought about the conversation we had the other day, and we were basically talking about that. And now there's one left.
We've got one left.
Yes.
We've got one big game left.
So I know what we're going to be doing on this Sunday. We're going to be on the company jet flying to Vegas.
Yes, whatever Southwest Airlines has on free television.
Exactly.
In the Pro Bowl this Sunday?
Oh, my gosh. Well, I won't be watching that. I'll be watching some cooking show instead.
There's that. I mean, to give you an idea, which, spring football's coming. We've got the UFL with our San Antonio Brahmas. And you wonder, would they make the season even longer? I just saw this on Twitter a few minutes ago. Greg Olson quote tweeted Fox Sports PR. Not a bad way to end, because Greg Olson, even though he's the best at Fox right now, he's going to lose his gig as the number one guy to Tom Brady next year. But in conclusion of its 30th season of the NFL on Fox coverage, they are saying 56,691,000 tuned in to watch the NFC Championship game.
I believe it.
Projects to rank as Fox's best NFC Championship game performance since 2012 and the fourth most watched non-Super Bowl telecast in network history, up 19% over last year.
Now, see, isn't that incredible? And the numbers just continue to get bigger. And we've seen all these incredible numbers with the playoffs coming out. And it's just, man, the NFL just continues to grow and grow and grow. And you have games like you had yesterday that were just fantastic. And so people get into it, and it's just a lot of fun.
You think about the growth of football, and it seems like every big game, especially if it's a good game, the numbers are there.
Yeah.
We hear about the NBA is trying to speed up games. Major League Baseball is trying to speed up games. If it's compelling, people aren't going to turn it off.
Right.
But football's got it down to a science. Even a long game in the NFL is pretty short comparative to, say, a college football game where, they've changed rules just to try to speed them up.
Yeah.
If you're watching good, you're going to stay with it. And I've said that about baseball or basketball. If it's a good game, I'm not turning it off. I don't know people. I don't understand people that, it's the last two. It's a good game, but I'm going to bed, or I'm going to close my tab and call Uber now. How do you leave when a game is that good, right? It's like, do you leave a movie early?
Yeah.
Do you leave a concert early? The encore's coming up. Those are the best songs. Why are you leaving now? You know what I mean? If it's good, if it's a blowout, if it's not good and you want to bounce, go ahead. I saw Scott Van Pelt had a interesting tweet yesterday. I pulled it up real quick, but essentially it was something like, I don't know what people that don't watch sports are doing right now. What are you doing right now that's better than this? And I'm right with them. Of course, and if you're listening to this show, you're right with them too.
Yeah, exactly.
People that aren't into sports, sometimes I just wonder, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Well, it's funny because there are some people like that. Got my hair cut today, right? This morning.
Oh, it looks great, man.
Well, thanks. Of course it does.
I didn't notice.
So I got my hair cut. Well, that's a great idea. But the guy said, well, who's in the Super Bowl? I haven't been paying attention. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I mean, so I think that everybody is paying attention to this, and there are some people out there that aren't.
The Van Pelt tweet. It's moments like these when I think about people who don't enjoy sports, and I wonder what they're doing right now. Maybe a nice book or museum or hike or something. All lovely, I'm sure. Give me this.
Yes.
And I'm right there. Give me more of this.
More of this.
More of this. And I think the NFL, because your team has one game a week, that's such a big part of it. In baseball, you could miss a week and catch right back up.
Yes.
You could check a score. NBA, couple games a week. If you miss one, no big deal. You'll get caught up on the highlights. And I know you can watch highlights of a football game, but there's nothing like watching it live. Like this conversation we're having about Dan Campbell. If you aren't watching the game and you're just hearing about it, your opinion, the momentum, everything that goes with it, it's not quite the same.
Well, I mean, just think about it. Everybody likes reality TV, right? A lot of people do anyway. That's why Big Brother's been on the air for like 30 years. And what's the other one? Survivor and all of that stuff. Football, well, all pro sports, but particularly football, is the best reality TV there is. Think about the drama we had last night. You know, the Lions up 24-7 at halftime. You're thinking, oh man, could this actually happen? Then you got the Dan Campbell decisions you're talking about and what's going through his mind. And you're wondering, it's the best reality TV on the planet. And it's the only appointment television left on the planet.
I mean, we know when kickoff is, you time like I was doing beef ribs yesterday. I know I need 8 hours. Timed it perfectly.
Yeah. So you guys started cooking what, at 6?
No, I was up around 8. Timed it perfectly for them to be ready to eat between the two games.
Gotcha.
You got that 30-minute window.
All right.
That was what I was targeting. And it worked out perfectly. You look at the idea of the appointment television aspect and the reality TV, and we're all armchair quarterbacks.
Of course.
All of us have different ideas on what went wrong. And in big games like this, you're analyzing every play. You know, Jared Goff missed a guy in the end zone. And, you know, and immediately, if you look at Twitter, you know, oh man, how does he miss a wide open guy? You know, his receiver was running down the seam, you know, the hash marks.
Yeah.
Right. There was a defender there. And he kind of went around the defender, right? Just 2-3 yards around and then kind of got back on the line. Well, that throws off the timing of the play. Right. Now, granted, he couldn't run through the guy. I don't know, but that wasn't necessarily a bad miss by Jared Goff. It's a timing play.
Exactly.
You know, so, you know, depending on how you want to analyze that, why did he miss? It's not like he just completely overthrew him. It was, boy, he just got off route just a little bit and pass is incomplete. You move on to the next one.
It's funny. And just share a quick story. Maggie and I out yesterday, we actually bought a new bed, right? So we're doing that in this place. And as we're trying out these things, I'm like,
trying out these things?
It's 1:45.
You're testing out a mattress right before kickoff?
Well, so I'm telling her it's 1:45. So we go to a restaurant where they've, you know, TVs everywhere. And so, but I'm in this place eating and I'm screaming at the TV like I would if I'm at my house.
Sure.
And nobody seemed to think that was weird, or at least they didn't say anything.
Well, I find it weird that you're shopping for a mattress on a Sunday.
Well, it was
that close to kickoff.
It was, oh, dude, I wasn't going to miss it. Trust me.
You're cutting it awful close, man.
No, I got there perfectly. It didn't kick off till like 2:10.
I'm just saying.
It was perfect.
1:45?
Yeah, it was perfect. We left right then. Only had to drive about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right.
This table, front row.
Okay.
It's great.
Just checking.
Well, dude, Maggie knows me. She knows.
See, what I heard and what everybody else heard is you told Maggie kickoff was at 2. And she was going to keep you occupied until 2.
Well, perhaps. But, you know, before that, you know, I went with her, got the whole
got a pedicure.
Got
a pedicure.
Yeah, so it was nice Sunday morning. Yeah.
Huh.
Pretty good Sunday.
Well, what are you saying, Pledge?
Both of y'all.
What do you mean?
What?
Now, feet in the group text. Stop with it. Both. You instigated his.
Yes, you did, actually. Oh, thank God Minix's picture of his feet had bags over him, so you couldn't see it.
At least my feet were covered. I mean, Ryan Eagle just puts his bare-ass toes out for everybody to see.
And you're welcome.
Nobody wants to see that.
You're welcome.
Nobody needs to see that. You're welcome, my ass. What the hell is wrong with you, man?
Oh, it was fantastic.
What is wrong with you?
I tell you, those pedicures, there's nothing like them.
You ain't lying.
They're fantastic.
Joanna was like, hey, there's no football today. Let's go get pedicures.
Well, I was sitting on I-10 for about 3 hours on Saturday. That's how I got to spend my day.
Well, that sounds awful.
It was terrible.
Why is that, Jim?
Well, let me tell you, Jim.
It's a great idea, Jim.
Coming home from Houston.
It's a
great idea, Jim. And I gotta kick myself in the butt. I'll tell you this, because I didn't trust my ways. So they're telling me as I'm coming down I-10 that I should get off there in Seguin and go to New Braunfels and go back. Like, what the hell do I want to do that for? I had no indication that about 5 miles up the road, there was traffic at a dead stop.
Uh-huh.
Took me 2.5 hours to go 10 miles.
Holy.
2.5 hours to go 10 miles.
Your bladder can't handle that on a drive home from Houston.
Let me tell you something. There were people getting out of their cars and peeing on the side of the road.
I believe it.
Absolutely. And I was about to do the same thing.
Uh-huh.
I held it as long as I could, and I wouldn't have thought, wouldn't have cared what anybody thought. And what would a police officer tell you?
Yeah.
Because there's no escape route.
Well,
You've got cement on both sides.
Uh-huh.
You can't get off. So I would open the doors and peed right there.
Uh-huh. Yeah, they're showing on YouTube your Twitter picture. Looked like a lovely day to be
Yes.
stuck in traffic.
I know.
Why didn't you listen to your ways? Why do you think, Joe Reinagle, that you know better than your GPS?
Because I'm like, why the hell do I want to go to New Braunfels and then deal with 35 traffic? That's what I was thinking. I never go that way. I go 10, I hit 1604, bam, follow it right around.
Mm-hmm.
That's my normal way.
Sure, but your technology was warning you.
Well, if they would have said there's a reason, or if I would have known why, I mean, it'd be nice if they could talk to you. Joe, why don't you go to New Braunfels? Because right 5 miles ahead, you're going to be stuck in traffic for 2.5 hours.
No, I had to deal with a little of the I-10 nightmare the other day.
Uh-huh.
Saturday. I didn't leave the house Sunday, so Saturday.
Uh-huh.
And I'm looking and I'm saying, why is it saying it's going to be 58 minutes to get to my house?
Right.
It should be 20.
Uh-huh.
Right? And then it said faster route available. And I thought, well, I'm going through some weird neighborhoods here, but I got home in 20 some odd minutes.
Right.
A route I'd never taken before. I didn't know it existed.
So you trusted your technology.
Well, I trusted my technology. I mean, semi-aware that I-10 1604 area was a bleep show because of construction.
Yes.
But on your trip home, did it not say it was going to take you 9 hours to get home from Houston?
Not until we were about to stop. No.
But Waze told you beforehand, go to New Braunfels.
They said, go cut it right there at Seguin. Take this road, go to New Braunfels. And,
I'm
going like, what the hell?
You're smarter than Waze.
Well, yeah.
But you're not.
I'm not going that way.
Yeah.
It's a lot quicker just to go down I-10, hit 1604.
Yeah. Uh-huh. It is a lot quicker unless the road's closed.
2.5 hours, dude.
Uh-huh.
To go 10 miles.
You must have been peachy. You must have made Greg Shelton seem like he could be somebody that could be on a kid's show.
Well, and I've got Maggie over here in the passenger seat. She's taking a nap.
Well, of course she is.
And I'm like just twiddling my thumbs.
Uh-huh. Good for you.
It was miserable. We were supposed to be
Glad you had a
somewhere
great day.
at 5 o'clock
and
didn't end up. Yeah, we had to go somewhere else. And so there you go.
Yeah. So, because you didn't trust your technology.
I did not.
And it's the technology's fault, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I need a little more information. Like, hey, Joe, there's a traffic jam ahead of you. If I were you, I would take and go to New Braunfels. Now, Miguel Martinez on our YouTube says he's a truck driver, and he says next time, take FM 78 between Seguin and New Braunfels. You bypass both highways and hit 1604.
It's brilliant.
I think it is brilliant.
It's what your Waze was trying to get you to do.
Next time, I will trust Waze, and I will take the New Braunfels route and not take a chance.
Would you at any point say, I'm not sure what Waze is trying to tell me? Let me pull off at the next exit, get to the gas station, and just do a little investigation before you get stuck for 2.5 hours.
Dude, you remember those days when you had to do that for direction? You stop at a gas station?
Exactly.
See, if I'd have done that, they probably would have told me, hey, Joe, you better go to New Braunfels.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you like sitting in traffic.
Mm-hmm. But we know you love sitting in traffic.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
It's the best way to spend a Saturday afternoon.
We do drive time radio.
Uh-huh.
We love people sitting in traffic.
Well, we do.
We love when you're stuck in traffic because you're listening longer. And we appreciate that. And because we appreciate that, we like to give away stuff.
Okay.
Like we got a pair of tickets for the rodeo. You can go see John Michael Montgomery.
Oh, wow.
February 19th at the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo. If you're caller number 9 right now, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Caller 9, you're winning tickets to go to the rodeo.
The NFL playoffs are here.
Read all about it, baby. One last drive.
Wild card, divisional, conference championship, and Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. Hear it on your exclusive home for the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Score big with LS Tractors at Dietz Tractor in Seguin, the MVPs of the field. LS Tractors, the star quarterbacks of farming, perfect for tough tasks for farm, ranch, and landscaping. Dietz Tractors has your all-star coaching staff for top-notch equipment. They're not just selling tractors, they're building lasting relationships with unmatched dealer support for parts and maintenance. It's a winning strategy that goes beyond the final whistle. Don't miss the game-winning move. 0% financing available with approved credit on LS Tractors. Start blue, stay blue at Dietz Tractor in Seguin.
Now is the best time to buy a Connecticut water softener. With current models being closed out to make way for the new ones, you can save big. Call Connecticut at 656-PURE and tell them Dave Ramsey sent you. That's 656-PURE.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Corey area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing. Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com.
When something happens to your kitchen, you might say,
"This is ludicrous."
but that won't fix your home. That will only get you the rapper, Ludacris.
Having trouble? Don't panic. Don't be alarmed. You need to file a claim? Holla at State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
That's right. You can file a claim on the app or call us.
Thanks, Mr. Chris.
No matter how ludicrous the situation, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language in as little as 3 weeks? Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Go to nomoredraftywindows.com for full offer details.
Attention all homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? It's time to replace. Fog between the glass. Time to replace. Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace. If you've put off replacing windows in your home because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. And right now, you can save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. Just text RENEWAL to 200-300 for your free consultation on top-quality affordable windows or patio doors for no dollars down, no payments, and no interest for a year. That's right. You don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus, save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month. Text RENEWAL to 200-300 right now. Text the word RENEWAL to 200-300. Don't wait. Text RENEWAL to 200-300.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's got to be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
O'Reilly! Did you know 1 in 4 car batteries is weak and needs to be replaced? O'Reilly Auto Parts will test your battery for free. If your battery needs to be replaced, our professional parts people can help you find the right Superstart battery for your vehicle and budget. Don't wait. Get your battery tested for free today at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Super Bowl 58 in Vegas is set. It's the Chiefs and Niners. Hear it right here on your exclusive home for the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
And our AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage in Vegas starts a week from today, next Monday, presented by Centergenics and Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. Can't wait to get out there. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix.
Always a lot of fun. And
Always.
it will be this matchup. Not that last year's didn't have the juice, but this one certainly should.
They all have the juice.
Yeah,
It's crazy. I want to say I've been there, done that. Down in Miami, we saw this same matchup.
Oh, yeah? Well, I wasn't there for that one.
I know.
But I'll be there for this one. It's all that matters.
It's really all that matters.
It's really all that matters. Although a trip to Miami would be nice. Although I've been there about 100 million times because the Spurs played the Heat so many times.
Yeah. Well, and you know, it's funny because I heard at the end of Jim Rome's show today, like, what is the best Super Bowl city? And it's such a loaded question. Miami was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
New Orleans is a great
Great.
stop right
Yeah.
now.
Jeez.
It's a great host city.
Fantastic. I'm sure it is.
Well, I mean, you got to look at the things that matter to us, right? San Francisco, we had a lot of fun. You know, like, example, next Monday night, opening night at Allegiant Stadium. Generally, Tuesday night, they have a huge media party. Where is the cigar party? Which we know where it is, but that's going to be on Thursday night.
Yeah.
But then all the other stuff going on that's walkable, easy to get to, because, I mean, obviously it's the Super Bowl. A gazillion people are there. There are things that, you know, pack your patience and your pain in the ass factor of getting from A to B. Miami was incredible. The cigar party that year was on some rooftop that had like swimming pools, and I mean, it was
nice,
swanky.
Yeah.
New Orleans, I remember going to, I don't even remember what it was, but it was some Super Bowl party out there on the water, some big, you know, down near the water. I don't know. And Miami did a big old party where all the cruise ships come in, but it's the food and the drink and all of the fun stuff that goes with it. You know, I hope we never go back to Minnesota where it was minus 48 and Radio Row is in the damn food court.
Wasn't it? Is it New Orleans next year?
Yeah.
Oh.
I know you hate New Orleans.
Yay.
LA was fun.
LA was fun. Phoenix was fun.
Phoenix was fun. They're all fun.
Yeah.
Because ultimately I mean, the city is not the city when the Super Bowl is there. If you are doing all these Super Bowl things, you know, in some ways it almost doesn't matter what city you're in.
Yeah.
Because you're going to all these different events. And quite frankly, for us, you know, you spend about 16 hours of your day inside of a convention center.
Exactly. And all of those look alike.
And they all look alike. And the big thing there for Joe is how close are we set up to the bathroom?
Exactly right. And so
you would have hated Minnesota. It was on the next floor.
Really? Well, what moron did that? I mean, when you build a convention center, why the hell do you not have stuff right there?
Well, we were at the food court at the Mall of America in Minnesota.
Even more so.
Well, there was bathrooms in the food court, but not close to where we were, but inside the secure area.
Okay.
You could go down some stairs to like a media workroom area that had bathrooms.
Okay.
Otherwise, you had to go through security if you left to use the bathroom that you could actually see.
Well, I think Las Vegas will treat me right.
Yeah. Yeah, it will go there. Hey, the Spurs have won a couple games in a row.
Wow.
Maybe their best win of the year on Saturday night.
Yes.
Knocking off Minnesota. That was the best we have seen this Spurs team look all season long.
Fourth quarter was the best we've seen them look.
Definitely. And after the game, Pop was talking about the differences between winning a game like that or losing, which we've seen them do so many times.
Well, I think that, you know, that they just exhibited a lot of desire to win, a lot of little things. I mean, obviously Jeremy had that run there. He was spectacular. Devin was spectacular all night, but it's a loose ball. It's Keldon's rebound there at the end, you know, giving us an extra possession. The trapping they did down the stretch, they were, you know, very physical and covered everybody, especially, you know, Towns and Edwards. Those are the two guys obviously you worry about the most anyway, and they did a good job with them. So we'll see as the season progresses. We hope we're getting more habitual in doing things the right way and being more consistent. But the last 2 nights were wonderful for them.
Wonderful for them. And it was. Hey, that fourth quarter, because they could have laid down and just rolled over in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But they played hard. And watching that, I was like, man, is something clicking? Is this an anomaly or what's going on here? But they looked really good in that fourth quarter and were aggressive and played hard.
2 in a row, a chance to get a third straight tonight.
And they should.
They should. Wemby called it the best win of the season for the Spurs.
Probably, if not the best one, maybe the one that snapped our losing streak, but it's definitely a good one. And I think tonight we have to feel proud about what we did and get used to that feeling so we can repeat it.
And he talks about getting used to that feeling. Pop talked about the desire to win. And there was a photo, I want to say it was Keldon and Wemby hugging and Pop in the background looking like the proud dad.
Yeah.
I mean, they needed that. They needed a moment like that. You kind of go back to a couple weeks ago, Pop made the comment that, people get used to losing and it's okay with them when we kick their asses out.
Yeah.
We're seeing that desire to win. And we've seen a little bit of everything this year, and we saw another bat. The idea that, and we've got bats in Texas. The bat in the building earlier, Coyote was ready. The bat makes his way out to the arena. The Coyote does his thing. Tom Orsborn of the San Antonio Express News afterwards, I think, with what should be an award-winning question. Because he asked Keldon Johnson, you're a country guy. Why didn't you go get the bat?
Nah. Some things, you just, I know my lane. That ain't really something that, like I'm borderline scared of the dark. So like a bat, that's something like, nah, that ain't really up my alley. Like I was more scared. Nah, for sure. You see everybody move out the way. I ain't see nobody going to try to catch the bat except for the dude in the suit. Yeah, I would have got out the way. The bat would have came out and ran to the locker room. Yeah.
You know his history, right?
Yeah, Manu caught the bat. He had to get some shots. And let you know, I don't want to do that. No, that's not up my alley. Coyote got the protection because he got the whole suit on. But you see, when the bat start flying low to the ground, everybody move out the way. That would have been me too.
Yeah, me too. By the way,
me too. Manu was there. He didn't run out there to try to get that thing.
And those shots I hear are not pleasant.
I would imagine not.
No.
Name a shot that is pleasant.
Well, there's not one.
All right.
But yeah, it was great, and they deserved a little comedy relief after that performance. In the fourth quarter, I mean, they simply took that game over in the fourth quarter, and it was fun to watch those guys play because Keldon played well, Devin Vassell played well, Sohan, and of course Wemby. I mean, it was fun to watch. It's been a long time since I had fun watching the Spurs play basketball.
And the fact that they beat a great team says a lot. That makes it more fun. They've got Washington tonight. They should be able to get their third straight game.
They should.
And if they start to look like they're turning the corner, and like they're not going to be a playoff team this year, but give us reasons to get excited about next year and what this team can be. We've heard a lot about, well, we're teaching them how to be pros, and we're, this, that. We finally saw it. And the fact that they got to 10 wins before the end of January, which we set as a goal for them.
Yes, we did.
Achieve baby steps, man.
I guess so. I mean, again, just having fun watching. That was what that's what was fun. It was nice to be able to do that. Now, I wasn't expecting it, but I got it anyway.
So it was just fun.
It was fun.
Great analysis, Joe.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was fun.
I want to have fun watching Spurs basketball again.
Me too.
That's all.
I'm a frustrated Spurs fan.
Yes.
So last night was fun. Tonight should be fun. Wizards in town. Imagine fans in Baltimore are frustrated with their Ravens. What happened to to Baltimore. We'll dive into that next here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. If you're having any issues at your house with your plumbing, your heater, your AC, you know there is one company to call, and that is Quartermoon Plumbing, Heating, and AC. 210-651-5899. At Quartermoon, they are experts at worst-case scenarios. Big job, small job, residential or commercial. Their service trucks are fully stocked, and they have all the equipment needed for any job. No commission. Sales reps, they'll provide estimates and second opinions, and they have a great experienced staff that has earned an A-plus ranking with the Better Business Bureau. And at Quartermoon, they are green certified. 210-651-5899 is the phone number. 651-5899 or online at quartermoonplumbing.com.
It's R&R in the morning.
Tuesday on Rob and RJ, the Spurs, did they stack 3 consecutive wins? Did the Wizards offer what was needed? We'll look at what went down. And are we getting more minutes from Victor now?
The Super Bowl is on its way. Kansas City, San Francisco, who will win? Mahomes, Purdy, and how do Dallas Cowboys factor into it all? We will tell you. Get the coffee, get the donuts. We'll see you at 6 a.m.
It's your wake-up call. R&R in the morning, 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
At Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf, there's something that binds us all. The collective goal to transcend the ordinary. Introducing the Ping G430 Max 10K driver. Straighter flies farther with Ping's most forgiving driver ever made. The Max 10K. Come in today and test drive Ping's newest driver at Edwin Watts Golf Shops. Visit us at your local Edwin Watts Golf Shops or shop us online at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's BABBEL.com.
You're all set with your Medicare prescriptions, Mrs. Brown.
This is not just low-cost copays at Walgreens.
I can actually help you set up 90-day refills if you want.
This is having a partner you can trust. Get low-cost copays, 90-day refills, and delivery from your neighborhood Walgreens. This is being independent. Together. Walgreens.
Restrictions apply. For details, see walgreens.com/pharmacy.
Here in Texas, the heat is relentless. The storms are serious. The hail is insane. Texas weather doesn't do anything halfway, and neither should your roofer. Hi, I'm Joe Reinigle. You know, your roof protects your home and your family. So whether you need a simple repair or a roof replacement, metal or composition, you need a roofer you can trust. That's Stevens Roofing. They're reputable, reliable, and have always been your local roofer. Call Stevens Roofing today for a free estimate. 210-785-0994 or go online at stevensroofing.net.
3 little words no parent wants to hear.
My tummy hurts.
And it always seems to happen at the worst times. Like in the middle of the morning rush, when you still have homework to check and lunches to pack, and of course, you're already late for work. Luckily, there's Pepto Kids. Pepto Kids gummies help relieve occasional stomach upsets, turning those 3 words into these 3 words.
I feel better.
Bad time for stomach upsets? Good time for Pepto Kids gummies. Fast support for little tummies.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry, with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Gomez Law Firm has been taking care of the people of San Antonio for almost 50 years, the leader in personal injury law. Jose, tell us a little bit more about what you do.
We do ride-sharing cases, 18-wheeler cases. Obviously, we've done those for very many years. Work injuries. We will be happy to take a look at and see if we can help.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then you need to visit joegomezlaw.com.
We've been around for almost 50 years, and we're not going anywhere.
Call the Gomez Law Firm at 736-4040.
Eczema flaring up again? We have good news. Exoderm. If you or someone you love suffers from eczema or dermatitis, get Exoderm, the common sense answer for eczema. This stuff really does work. Exoderm contains the #1 doctor-recommended ingredient in a clean hypoallergenic cream with no harsh additives. Take back control of your eczema with affordable, fast-acting Exoderm Flare Control Cream. Exoderm, it's in the first aid aisle of your local Walmart, H-E-B, and other fine stores.
Now is the best time to buy a Connecticut water softener. With current models being closed out to make way for the new ones, you can save big. Call Connecticut at 656-PURE and tell them Dave Ramsey sent you. That's 656-PURE.
Mahomes takes a knee, and that is it. The Kansas City Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl for the 4th time in the last 5 years. Viva Las Vegas for KC. They've done it again. They win the AFC Championship 17-10 over the Ravens and end Baltimore's season here at M&T Bank Stadium.
Ian Eagle with the call on Westwood One Radio, heard right here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star yesterday as the Chiefs knock off the Ravens in Baltimore. He's Joe, I'm Jason, the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. What happened to Baltimore? I mean,
Patrick Mahomes happened to Baltimore.
I mean, you know, it's interesting when you think about that game and the comparisons that the Ravens are getting to the Dallas Cowboys, that Lamar is getting to Dak Prescott. Somebody I know calls him Dak Prescott Jr.
Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh. We could go the other way, maybe Lamar Jackson Jr., referring to Dak.
Who's been in the league? I don't know. I mean, Josh Allen isn't going, Lamar isn't going. Kind of like what we talked about all year with the Dallas Cowboys, or at least down the stretch. It was setting up perfectly for the Cowboys to at least get to the NFC Championship game. Same was said for the Baltimore Ravens, but their idea of winning the AFC Championship game, the pressure on Lamar playing at home, everything was there for Baltimore, and they didn't get it done. He didn't get it done. He didn't look sharp all afternoon.
Nope.
Hesitant. Thought getting Andrews back would make a big difference.
That didn't make much of a difference at all.
None. I think a big part of it is, you know, when Lamar is the quarterback, the highly paid quarterback that he is, will take all the flack like a Dak Prescott would. What the hell were they doing with their play calling? You know, the fact that is a run football team that didn't run the ball. I mean, you know, Kansas City goes down and scores. They go 3 and out. Kansas City scores again, 3 and out. You're only down 7. I mean, you know, and all of a sudden you've abandoned your running game. You know, they didn't run the ball at all the entire game. It made no sense.
Well, I think that we take for granted, first of all, Andy Reid, and then what is it, Spagnuolo?
Yeah.
I think those two guys and what he's done with that defense is incredible, because this is the best defense that Patrick Mahomes has had, amazingly enough, and all the playoff games that this guy has won, and the 2 Super Bowls as well. And but to have this kind of defense when you don't have the talent, the receiving talent that you've had in the past, although he's getting some pretty good production now out of some of these young guys, which is good. And then he's always got number 87, who was just a monster yesterday. And it just amazes me to watch how these two guys just almost, they think alike. There was one pass, and I know it was a touchdown pass to Kelsey. I can't remember exactly where it was in the game, but Mahomes threw it to his back hip, not shoulder. And I thought Tony Romo did a great job of explaining that. Had he thrown it to the back shoulder, it probably would have been knocked down. So Mahomes throws it to his back hip, where only Travis Kelce can catch the football. And it's just that kind of stuff just amazes me.
It was the first touchdown of the game, and you know, a 10-play, 86-yard drive. And that is what Kansas City won that game. And I look at, you know, Baltimore, and I can answer my own question. I mean, their 2 running backs had a combined 6 carries for the entire game. And a big part of that was time of possession. they only had it for 22 minutes because Kansas City dominated with long drives, but long drives that ended in points. They had a 16-play, 9-minute drive, which is the longest of Patrick Mahomes' career. I think that's what they said during the broadcast, or one of, maybe in the playoffs. But I mean, you know, you don't think of Kansas City as a methodical, time-consuming type of offense. But once they built the lead, Patrick Mahomes played game manager. They made smart plays. They stayed within their game plan, kept Lamar on the bench. And so when the Ravens got out there, their play calling was desperate. Oh, we gotta get this going. And then when they finally got some things going, the undisciplined play that we saw.
Unbelievable, yeah.
And look, I'm a fan of Zay Flowers. The taunting penalty, dude, first off, you're down 10. Relax.
Yeah.
Right? The fumble, I mean, he's diving for a touchdown.
And it was a great play by the same guy he was taunting.
Yes. and, you know, that happens. It's not like he was reaching the ball out, careless with it, any of that. It was just a bizarre play. At the same time, I felt like Baltimore felt like they had lost that game in the fourth quarter and still had to go play.
Yeah.
And that's the bizarre thing. You know, when Zay Flowers cuts his hand, I guess, I don't know, punching his helmet, punching the bench, doing whatever, and Lamar's throwing his helmet, they still had a chance.
Yes.
I mean, the game
was a 7-point game.
The game was not over. And I look at Baltimore, you had the Flowers fumble near the goal line, and then you had the interception in the end zone.
Yep.
You get 2 red zone turnovers. You lost that game by 7. If you're Baltimore, well, yes, you lost to Patrick Mahomes and the defending champions, but don't you feel like you let that one get away?
You had to have. And the pressure, and that's why I say, look, in big moments, big players make big plays. And I said that about that Travis Kelce catch that Mahomes just kind of threw it. Almost looked like he was throwing it away, and Kelce comes up with it. Well, I say that about Lamar Jackson. Big-time players make big-time plays, and that's what happens. And I know there's only one quarterback that's going to stand and be happy at the end, and it's the guy that's holding up the Super Bowl trophy. But and that's why I compare him to Dak Prescott, because both of these guys, I mean, they could be 1-2 in the MVP voting. But when it comes time and the big lights are on, neither one of those guys seems to be able to get it done. And that's not me criticizing anybody. It's just factual. That's what happens, and they're both in the same boat at this moment in time.
Lamar finished 20 of 37 for 272, a touchdown and an interception. 8 carries for 54 yards. And you're right. I mean, you look around and watching the game, you know, the Cowboys lost to Green Bay. I mean, Dak's that defense was so bad. I don't know if Dak could have played a perfect game and won the game, because the defense was, but Dak didn't do anything to help his reputation or really help the team and settle them down. I know his stat line is impressive, but if you watch the game, you know Dak was not good against Green Bay. Another playoff Prescott performance, and that ain't a good thing. And when you roll with a 2-5 playoff record, and you know you look at Lamar's playoff record, it just felt like this year was going to be different because you have a more mature Lamar Jackson, who makes great quarterback, or was this year. He made great. He wasn't one read and run. He was making good to great quarterback decisions and throwing the ball all year. I don't know what happened in this game, other than they didn't have a whole lot of time, and it almost felt like everything was rushed. I go back to, the Cowboys afterwards. I think it was McCarthy afterwards that said they were just all playing too fast. Baltimore was playing too fast, and I think part of that was because they got behind so early. Even though it was only a touchdown, they acted like they were down 21, where they didn't stay calm in the moment. You look at the NFC side, San Francisco's down a bunch. They play an awful first half, but they stayed within themselves. There's a calmness about Brock Purdy that you can't coach.
No.
You either have ice water in your veins or you don't. Purdy never looked like he panicked. He didn't last week against Green Bay. He didn't yesterday against Detroit, no matter what the situation was.
No, and that's the difference. And that's why Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, is leading a team to the Super Bowl. All right, because of that fact. Look, he's not the best quarterback in the league. He certainly doesn't have the skills that a Lamar Jackson has or a Josh Allen has, but he's going to the Super Bowl, and they're not. And look, he's got a lot of weapons around him. I get it. But you still have to get those guys the football, and he does, and he doesn't panic, and I think it's great. I saw a comparison, and this might irritate you, Jason, but it makes sense comparing Brock Purdy to a Troy Aikman. And look, Troy had a lot of weapons.
He did.
Nobody ever called Troy Aikman a game manager, but he was. He got the ball to the people that needed to get the ball. And he was good at it, and he did a great job with it. Brock Purdy is following in that same direction and same footsteps.
You know, I'm trying to think how a Troy Aikman comparison, and it's hard to the styles of football from then and now are so different.
They are.
Because I think if Troy were playing in today's kind of offense, he had the arm to be able to do that. And so while you do have Emmitt Smith, the NFL's all-time leading rusher, it was more run dominant. And, but also you're talking about a number 1 overall pick versus Mr. Irrelevant, and maybe that is a fair example. I was thinking more of like, the Trent Dilfers that have gone to Super Bowls and once at Brad Johnson, where you've got a capable quarterback. Not necessarily a great quarterback, not, the Patrick Mahomes or the Tom Brady types where it's all on the quarterback, but a guy that can distribute the ball to the playmakers. And you look at some of those guys that have won Super Bowls, maybe a little bit a fair comparison, but I do think we look at a guy like Brock Purdy because he was drafted Mr. Irrelevant and not a first rounder. The expectation, and then, all right, well, the success he's having, there's got to be a reason for it because clearly not everybody missed on this guy until the very end of the draft. It's weird because, I thought it was, give me a good word, listening to Tony Romo, who was undrafted and had a very successful NFL career being an undrafted guy, talking about championship level game preparedness that you have to have. What the hell does he know about what it's like to play in a game like this? Because he never did. I mean, I'm listening to him going, well, what personal experience are you drawing off of, Tony?
I remember hearing that.
Please tell me.
Exactly.
This is interesting. I mean,
the only difference I will say from the guys that you mentioned, and especially a Trent Dilfer, that Ravens defense was incredible. All right. I mean, I'm not sure this San Francisco defense is incredible. The last 2 weeks, teams have been able to score on them, and it has been up to the offense to outscore them. So I'm not sure that is a fair comparison because when it mattered against Green Bay, Purdy drove the Niners down the field and scored. When it mattered last night, Purdy directed those drives to get them back in it. So I don't think if I'm a San Francisco fan, I'm certainly not relying on my defense to shut down Patrick Mahomes. I'm gonna look at this game as we're gonna have to outscore these guys.
Well, and I think with Brad Johnson, with Trent Dilfer, and to your point, I mean, they did have great defenses. But they also didn't mess up. They made plays when they had to make plays. And that's what I see from Brock Purdy. I'm thinking about some of the quarterbacks that have actually led teams to Super Bowls, and you go, how in the hell did that happen? Even though he didn't win it, Rex Grossman led a team to the Super Bowl. How? Right? It is interesting when Jake Delhomme, when you start looking at quarterbacks that led teams to Super Bowls, but I look at Brock Purdy and give him all the credit because last year he got hurt.
Yep.
And everybody wondered, all right, lightning in a bottle. There's going to be film on them. They're going to figure them out. But I do think what happened to them in the middle of the season when those weapons weren't available to them, they lost 3 games in a row.
They did.
And I think that's part of the narrative with Brock Purdy is you got to have Debo, you got to have McCaffrey, you got to have, but that's every quarterback, not named Patrick Mahomes. That
Exactly.
Tom Brady won without a lot of weapons.
He did.
Mahomes, as early as he is doing it in his career, and again, first round guy, I think Tom Brady, the expectation, kind of like a Brock Purdy as a 6th round guy, wasn't what we've got.
Yeah, exactly. Look, Patrick Mahomes is on a different level than any other quarterback in the NFL right now. I mean, it's just not even close. He's on a different level. So any comparison to of anybody else to a Patrick Mahomes is just foolish. The guy is on a different level. So then you've got the next level. And look, Brock Purdy, who knows what kind of a career he's going to have. But in this moment, the opportunity that he's been given, and look, the foresight, and I'm sure when they drafted him, Mr. Irrelevant, they weren't thinking, well, this guy's,
No.
That's a great idea, Jim. I mean, so I don't think that's what they were thinking, but you get lucky. The Cowboys got lucky with Dak Prescott. Drafting him in the 4th round, they needed him. They didn't think they were going to need him as quickly as they did, but they had him there.
Think about Tony Romo. Is just a camp invitee as an undrafted guy.
Yeah.
Cost our guy Clint Sterner a job in the NFL.
Yeah.
He started a nice little radio career, but I imagine Clint would rather have had a longer NFL career.
Tom Brady was a 3rd stringer at Michigan.
Yeah.
I mean, so,
you get him in the building and you see what's
that's
there.
It. That's exactly right.
That's the bottom line. Football, it's a weird game sometimes.
It is.
Look at Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Rams didn't want him, and they love him in Detroit.
Yes, they do. And they should. And the future, I think, is good for Detroit. Got a great running game. They've got some good young talent, wide receivers. They'll be around for a while.
Let's talk about what happened to the Lions. What do you think of the Super Bowl matchup now that it is set? 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. If you are needing to go to the dentist, if it's been a while since you've been to the dentist, let me recommend my dentist, Dr. Smith, over at Smile Structured Dentistry and Braces. They can handle all your dentistry needs, from general dentistry to oral surgery. If your kids need braces, they could do that. If you're thinking about Invisalign for you, you can certainly do that there at Smile Structured Dentistry and Braces. A general and family dental practice, from cleaning and whitening to crowns, fillings, dental implants to wisdom teeth extraction. They can handle every aspect of your dentistry needs. They offer general anesthesia, sedation, and cosmetic dentistry. And right now, you can get a free exam and x-rays when you mention 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Medicaid and all PPO insurance is accepted. They offer a dental savings plan if you don't have dental insurance. Smile Structured Dentistry and Braces is veteran-owned and operated. They cater to veterans, and they offer discounts to uninsured veterans. 5 San Antonio area locations. Learn more and book an appointment online at smilestructure.com. That's smilestructure.com.
The professional football playoffs are here.
Out of the gun, back to Dak. Left side of the end zone. Touchdown.
14 teams with only one goal in sight. The big game in Las Vegas. Presented by Flight by Yingling. Hear it on your exclusive home. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149. When something happens to your kitchen, you might say,
"This is ludicrous."
but that won't fix your home. That will only get you the rapper, Ludacris.
Having trouble? Don't panic. Don't be alarmed. You need to file a claim? Holla at State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
That's right. You can file a claim on the app or call us.
Thanks, Mr. Chris.
No matter how ludicrous the situation, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language in as little as 3 weeks? Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's BABBEL.com.
Hey, this is Rob Thompson here for Prize Picks. I want to tell you about Prize Picks. For those of you guys that like to play and watch games a lot of different ways, there's lots of different ways to enjoy it. I've been a fantasy football player since the very beginning. Heck, I made my bones playing fantasy football, and Prize Picks is the first one that truly suits me. If you're a DFS player, there's no better place to go than Prize Picks because my knowledge matters. This is a game of skill, and I'm not worried about entire teams. I'm worried about my favorite player, my team, my league. All I got to figure is where he might be, where she might be, pick over, under, combine them with other players, get some prize picks, get some fun, but at the same time, use my knowledge. It's Prize Picks, and if you'll go to prizepicks.com, throw the word Alamo in there for your little promo, I'll tell you what, you're going to make a little bit of extra, get a little bit going, but I'll tell you what, Prize Picks is the one place I have found I can take my fantasy love and take it to the game. That's Prize Pick. Download today, use Alamo, and I know you're going to thank me later.
Getting your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt can lead to some spirited reactions.
Jackson Hewitt!
Jackson Hewitt is so sure that you'll get your biggest refund that if they don't, you get your money back plus $100.
Jackson Hewitt!
And Jackson Hewitt also guarantees the accuracy of your return for life.
Hewitt!
So don't just sit there. For your biggest refund guaranteed, walk into a Jackson Hewitt today and dance out Jackson Hewitt! Yeah!
Progressive knows we're all trying to save right now.
Hey, at least we're still enjoying baseball on a Saturday night, right?
Even if it is T-ball. Yeah, but tickets to the majors are just so expensive now.
And who knows, maybe we're seeing a pro in the making.
Sure, in like 20 years. How is he safe? Boo! This ump stinks!
The ump is only 14. We don't really do that.
Oh, my bad. You're doing a great job, ump.
Progressive offers you savings without sacrifice. So save big when you bundle home and auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states.
KTFM Floresville. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Your home for the Aggies. San Antonio's Sports Center.
Spurs looking for a 3-game win streak tonight. They'll take on the Washington Wizards inside the Frost Bank Center. Tip-off for that one set for 7 o'clock. There are reports the Dallas Cowboys have interest in Ron Rivera, former head coach of the Washington Commanders. They'd like for him to be their defensive coordinator should Dan Quinn get a head coaching job. Dallas Cowboys offensive coordinator Kellen Moore, he's with the Eagles.
Joe Reinagle.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minutes.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagle. I'm Jason Minix. Super Bowl is set.
I meant to say that Kellen Moore's with the Eagles as their offensive coordinator. Ran out of time.
What do you
Just wanted
mean?
to clarify that.
What'd you say?
Something like that, but it was very confusing, at least to me.
You confused
I
yourself?
confused myself, so just wanted to clear the air.
So what are you saying?
I'm saying that I was very confusing on that last story.
So what's the story?
Kellen Moore's the Eagles offensive coordinator.
Okay.
See, you're confused now.
Well, you confused me with your explanation. I thought your Sports Center was fine.
Oh, well, okay.
And then you made it unfine.
I'm just having a...
And then you complicated things that didn't need to be complicated.
I'm having I'm having a discussion with myself. I got the devil on the right shoulder, the angel on the other, and we're going back and forth here. And
so are you calling Kellen Moore a devil or an angel?
Well, I'll let you know. Time will tell.
Depends on how well he does against Dallas,
There
working
you
with
go.
Jalen Hurts.
Wow.
It's interesting because I've had some people on Twitter. Oh, do you think he took this job just to stick it? No, I really don't even know if that factors in for these guys when they're looking for these jobs, to be quite honest. coaching is such a transient job to begin with.
Yeah.
You know, you show up, you change your shirt, they give you a bag full of whole new clothes, and that's what you're doing with. I don't know how personal it always gets. Gallimore went on a couple interviews. The Eagles offered him a job. What he does seems to fit well with what the Eagles want to do. The fact that it's the Eagles, I think it's fun for fans.
Yeah.
I don't think most care. And quite honestly, I look at 1 year with Mike McCarthy working with Dak Prescott and the jump that we saw with Dak Prescott this year during the regular season versus what we had seen previously with Kellen Moore. And then I look at the incredible year that Justin Herbert had with the Chargers. I think the shine is a little bit off of Kellen Moore.
Yeah, I think it is too.
And to say, Philadelphia is a prime example of how important coordinators are, because look at what happened to the Eagles with both of their coordinators who a year ago were preparing their team for the Super Bowl. They leave, and that Eagles team wasn't the same. I mean, 10-1 at one point, and we kept saying how, because they were just winning games, but not pretty, not the way we had seen before. And then when the wheels finally came off, man, they came off in a big way. Tell me those coordinators didn't make that much of a difference.
And now they've got two new coordinators, heading into this year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and that's got to be tough on a quarterback. And I don't know how much different Kellen Moore will be than what they had, but it's something new for Jalen Hurts and everybody else to learn. And what's that team going to look like? Will they look different? I think the main thing, if you're a Cowboys fan, you want to see who takes that job in Washington and what they can do there and what coordinators that person brings in, and how quickly they can turn that thing around. Because I got to believe that eventually the Giants and the Commanders will be better than they've been.
You got to believe that, right?
You got to believe it, right? I'm a hopeful person.
I mean, and as a Cowboy fan, the NFL's better. The NFC East is better when Washington is good.
Absolutely.
I don't want them to be great, but I want them to be good, right? The Giants, the fact that you've got the Giants and the Jets in New York City, the number one market, and for the most part, they haven't been good.
No.
Although Eli did get them 2 Super Bowl rings. I mean, they're not consistently good, but sometimes they'll just jump up and randomly win a Super Bowl.
They will.
Which I wish Dallas could do. But at the same time, you're right. I mean, the NFC East, as long as Dallas is good, I don't need to go back to the Quincy Carter, Drew Henson, those kind of days. But yeah, you're right. I mean, when the NFC East is great, it's there.
It's good for football.
It's good
when that happens. Those are all iconic franchises, and I think that's what makes it. When you look at some of these other divisions, yeah, I don't know what's the AFC North. You could consider that, but I mean the NFC East just kind of leads away, and of course the Cowboys are a big reason why, because they're as popular as they are. So
even though they haven't won in 28 years,
yeah,
a Super Bowl.
Or much else for that matter.
Well, that's all that matters.
They've won a lot of regular season games.
They have. And and I find it so interesting now that the Super Bowl is set. And we're the Cowboys affiliate. I'm a Cowboys fan. They drive the boat around here. The national conversation is always about the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
And this morning on Get Up and on First Take, what they were saying about Baltimore was kind of what they've been saying about Dallas, just insert Baltimore. Getting to an AFC championship isn't good enough, even though people said, if Lamar can just get to an AFC championship game, take that next step. Well, they lost. And you know what? It ain't good enough because he couldn't get his team over the hump into the Super Bowl. I remember you Yeah, man, if Dak can get to an NFC championship game, man, that'd be great. No, it wouldn't, because when you get that close and you lose, man, that sucks.
Dude, it would be a step in the right direction. I mean,
but are you saying that about Lamar? No, you're calling him Dak Jr.
Well,
who
I
has
am,
never
because-
actually been to a conference championship
No,
game.
he hasn't. But, he's going to have his second MVP award, and which is just crazy. And he can't get it done in the playoffs. It is deserved. He played better than everybody else this year. So that's deserved, and he's going to get that, and that's fine. But at some point in time, to be considered a great quarterback, you have to get to the big game. Everybody, talks about Dan Marino. Rookie season, he gets to the Super Bowl. They lose, and he never got back. And he is considered a great quarterback.
He's a Hall of Famer with a gazillion yards thrown.
So look, not everybody can do it. But when you look at guys that have great regular seasons and then they just look confused and almost scared during the big moments, that's a problem.
So because there are a lot of great quarterbacks, a lot of Hall of Fame quarterbacks that have never won a Super Bowl. You're an Oiler fan.
Yeah.
Warren Moon.
Absolutely.
Well,
that Frank Reich guy kind of
again,
hate him.
Do you talk about Warren Moon the way you talk about Dak Prescott?
No.
Did you in the moment? Can you go back and remember that far?
Yeah, I can remember that far. And that was just a complete collapse in that particular game when you're talking about that Buffalo game.
Sure.
Because that was the best team that the Oilers had.
But they played for a long time, and Warren Moon never got it done, yet he's considered a great quarterback.
Well,
he's considered a great quarterback by you. Hell, he's a Hall of Famer. I consider him a great quarterback. He's freaking Warren Moon, but he never won a Super Bowl.
He
never
close.
got to a Super Bowl.
No.
Yet you don't hammer him for that.
Well, I mean, think anybody gives a damn what I think about Warren Moon? We're talking about now.
Okay, but I mean, why are the standards different?
Because we're in the moment right now, and you've got a franchise that fans are hungry for. You mentioned 28-year anniversary.
Yep.
Right? I mean, and every year it's the Cowboys' year, and Dak Prescott is the guy, and he's the one, and Jerry believes in him, and it's the same story year after year after year. And that's why. And that's why you see it on ESPN and every other national show talking about the Dallas Cowboys, because they are the ones that drive the boat. And it would be refreshing. I said it during the year. I would love to see the Dallas Cowboys in Las Vegas because they're good for business.
Yeah, but they'll be in New Orleans next year, man.
Sure. Well, they might be.
But when you look at it, there are a lot of quarterbacks. A lot of quarterbacks in today's game that are considered great that haven't gotten over that hump. Josh Allen is certainly one. Lamar, this close. Joe Burrow eventually maybe will win one. But man, Joe Burrow's got to go through Patrick Mahomes. And he did it once, got to the game and lost. So at least he has advanced his team there. But you start looking around and, dude, it's so difficult to get there. And Lamar is getting the Dak treatment today, but it is interesting when you look back through history, the quarterbacks that are Hall of Famers, that's the definition of greatness, that don't have rings, that never even got to a Super Bowl to lose.
That's the thing, though. I know Cowboy fans,
and the standard's different in Dallas.
Well, it is, but I know that it's Super Bowl or bust. But man, if you could just get to that championship game, and they would have had their rematch with San Francisco, and it looks like San Francisco, although they've rallied twice, was beatable, and so that's what makes it so frustrating. If you're a Cowboy, it has to.
But I will say this. I totally disagree with you that if they got to the NFC Championship game, we'd be all excited and say, well, it was a good year. At least we got to the NFC Championship game. And as Rex Ryan said multiple times yesterday on those hours-long pregame and postgame show, you know what? Because he lost 3 of these.
Yep.
It's worse because you get absolutely nothing for it. At least the loser of the Super Bowl gets a ring that says whatever conference they are. They get a conference championship
Sure.
ring that you never wear, but it's nice in a jewelry box somewhere.
Well, that's fun.
It's lovely. You get nothing for it.
To win one, you got to get there, right? And so get there, and then we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about what's going to happen 2 weeks in Vegas when we get out there for our AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Road coverage, powered by Synergenics and Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds all next week. Rob and RJ in the morning, us in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Live on Radio Row.
Wow.
It's going to be a great time.
A lot of good guests lined up already. So, yeah, you don't want to miss out on that.
No.
Not at all. When are you going to go to the Big Blind? If you haven't been there, I want you to know that you're missing out on something. The Big Blind is open. It's right there by the Roo Pub. I know a lot of you go to the Roo Pub, and rightly so. The Angry Elephant as well. Same owners that own the Big Blind. It is the premier poker room in San Antonio, and it's not even close. It's an upscale environment. It caters to players from all abilities. And right now, between noon and 10 p.m. every single day, they have $500 high hands every 30 minutes. Give away 10 grand. You got to do is go in there and play. Every 30 minutes, $500, the high hands every 30 minutes between noon and 10 o'clock. You're going to love this place. I do. I can't wait to get back in there. Daily cash games to daily, weekly, and monthly tournaments. You can really celebrate the spirit of poker at the Big Blind. And you're going to feel like a big shot to boot. This place has got food, it's got drinks, and it's just first class every way you look at it. If you haven't been there, get in there. If you've been, get ready to go back. It is so much fun, and the atmosphere is absolutely perfect. You're not going to miss a game because there's TVs all over the place. The Big Blind, 281 in Redland Road. Again, $500 high hands every 30 minutes between noon and 10 o'clock. Why don't you get in there today? The Big Blind, 281 and Redland Road.
The professional football playoffs are here.
Out of the gun, back to Dak. Left side of the end zone. Touchdown.
14 teams with only one goal in sight. The big game in Las Vegas. Presented by Flight by Yingling. Hear it on your exclusive home. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Over the past decade, the Roo Pub has proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. Football, basketball, all the UFC fights. And when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Celebrating 10 years in business, the Roo Pub is next to the Angry Elephant there at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out. Go to nomoredraftywindows.com for full offer details.
Attention all homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? It's time to replace. Fog between the glass. Time to replace. Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace. If you've put off replacing windows in your home because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. And right now, you can save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. Just text RENEWAL to 200-300 for your free consultation on top-quality affordable windows or patio doors for no dollars down, no payments, and no interest for a year. That's right. You don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus, save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month. Text RENEWAL to 200-300 right now. Text the word RENEWAL to 200-300. Don't wait. Text RENEWAL to 200-300.
Sick and tired of achy joints? Dread the idea of surgery? You need to call QC Kinetics today. Hey, it's James Spudger with San Antonio Sports Star. Listen, the state of healthcare is always changing. The old ideas like steroids and surgery are no longer your only options. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative and non-surgical drug-free treatments that deliver lasting results. Knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, pain from arthritis or injury. Don't let this pain keep you from living your best life. QC Kinetics' advanced state-of-the-art treatments harness and direct your body's natural ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. This is a revolutionary approach that can get you long-term relief with no downtime. Make 2024 the year you reclaim your mobility, reclaim your independence, walk, run, play, and live without the danger and trauma of surgery and without harmful drugs. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park, Westover Hills, and New Braunfels.
Eczema flaring up again? We have good news. Exoderm. If you or someone you love suffers from eczema or dermatitis, get Exoderm, the common sense answer for eczema. This stuff really does work. Exoderm contains the #1 doctor-recommended ingredient in a clean hypoallergenic cream with no harsh additives. Take back control of your eczema with affordable, fast-acting Exoderm Flare Control Cream. Exoderm. It's in the first aid aisle of your local Walmart, H-E-B, and other fine stores.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-737-9944. That's 1-800-737-9944. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-737-9944. That's 1-800-737-9944.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Super Bowl 58 in Vegas is set. It's the Chiefs and Niners. Hear it right here on your exclusive home for the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
San Francisco, Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Is it the Super Bowl you wanted? I mean, I know how you gambled, but I think, most of us wanted Detroit.
Sure.
I thought Baltimore was going to get over the hump. Poop down. I did win my beer bet with you on that.
Yeah.
And that's ultimately all that matters, right?
I guess. I had no idea when I'm sitting there sweating that game out last night because I had San Francisco -7 and the over. Obviously, it went over in a little parlay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I didn't know that till today because I was convinced that we had both, and I know we had talked about it. And yeah, you won the beer bet. Detroit covered.
They got it done.
Yeah. That's San Francisco defense. How do you give up 31 points? What did they give up? Was it 31? Yeah, 34-31.
Well, if they kick a field goal, they give up 34. If Dan kicks another field goal, they give up 37. That that San Francisco defense.
Uh-huh. Right.
I
know.
They left 6 points on the field.
Yeah, but San Francisco left 3 on the field.
They missed the field goal.
They missed the field goal.
But at least they tried the field
and
goal.
I remember the exact text on our group chat. Kickers.
Yeah.
Damn kickers.
It generally starts with an F, but I'm with you.
Uh-huh.
You can't say that on radio.
No, can't say that.
Most things in our group chat we can't say on radio.
No, we can't. And that's why we have the group chat. It's really funny how that group chat works. It's almost like we're all just doing a radio show. It's at times.
Funny, a bunch of radio guys, bunch of opinionated people.
Yes.
With opinions on things as they happen.
True.
In my opinion, as they were saying, well, they're going for it on 4th down, was no, Dan Campbell, kick the field goal. Kick the field goal. And I think if you're going to bitch about Dan Campbell today, think about where you were in the moment. Not before the 4th down play was unsuccessful. In the moment, before that play was run, were you mad at Dan Campbell or thinking Dan Campbell was making a mistake? I was. And
I was not.
And so I know he has done that before. His philosophy is to be aggressive. At the same time, going up 3 scores is so important. And just the momentum of it. Had they converted and gone on and scored a touchdown and won the game, we might not even be talking about it, or it's Dan being Dan. And Dan being Dan, sometimes it bites you in the ass. And I think in this case, it bit him in the ass. At the end of the first half, he kicked the field goal. And I think we were all surprised that Dan and his philosophy was kick the field goal. But his thought process, well, let's go up 3 scores. It's the NFC Championship game. I can't treat this like, a regular season game against an inferior opponent. That thought process apparently didn't enter his mind when he had a chance to the 3 points that San Francisco got at the start of the second half. They could have evened things up, kicking a field goal there. You're back up 17. Up 3 scores.
And maybe that figures, maybe it doesn't. Maybe he makes the first down and they go on and run some time off the clock and score a touchdown. I mean, that's the thing. We can all sit here and second guess Dan Campbell.
Well, that's what we do.
Well, I know the field goal, that doesn't mean he was going to make the field goal. We already saw one field goal missed by the San Francisco kicker. I mean, the Detroit kicker could have missed it as well. And then what? Well, Dan, you should have gone for it. I mean, that's what we're all talking about here. And we're all saying Dan Campbell made a bad choice. Maybe he didn't have faith in his kicker. I don't know. Maybe in the moment he thought his defense wasn't playing too well. And, he needed to keep the football away from Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel. All of these things had to play into it. I think he did what he thought he needed to do. They just didn't execute correctly. One of them, the other one was a drop ball that would have been a first down. So I think if it turns out different, we're calling Dan Campbell a rebel, a riverboat gambler, and boy, I can't believe he did that. But boy, he's a genius.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what we're doing today.
Sure,
but instead, he's an idiot.
Well, the second one when he had a chance to tie the game. Do you think the same thing?
I do. That was a longer field goal, wasn't it? So you missed the field goal. You give San Francisco the ball damn near at midfield.
I mean, but you tie the game, and again, that was a longer field goal. But at the same time, tie the game.
I love you of all people, Minix, who hates kickers.
I do.
You want to put the game in the foot of a kicker.
Yeah. No, and look, there is the right thing to do. Right? There is situational awareness. There is situational decision making. And we get mad at coaches all the time.
Sure.
Like Mike McCarthy and game clock management is an issue. There are times where you go out, you've got kickers, go out there and use them.
Make them earn their money.
Well, and if they miss, especially at the NFL level, something like that, that's why we rip them. We don't
Sure.
like them, but to me, you get a chance to go up 3 scores, you do it, especially in the second half, you do it. I don't know if he would have gone for the touchdown in the first half because you're in the first half. If he would have gone for that one in the touchdown to go up 21 instead of 17 and didn't make it, that's Dan being Dan. But there he took the field goal. But when you get in the second half of games and you can go up 3 scores, dude, you've got to do that. You got a chance to tie the game. It's the NFC Championship game. Kick the field goal, tie the game. You trust your defense to get a stop. And if they don't, you need 1 touchdown to get back equal. Instead, they needed 2. And then they get down near the goal line. They're under 2 minutes, and they run the ball. They run the ball.
Now that's a questionable call, but
questionable.
Is that Campbell or is that the wonder boy Ben Johnson?
That's a great question that we don't know, but you're the head coach.
Sure,
You're
the
head coach.
Yeah, Ben Johnson,
you're right. Ben
could be the head coach of the Washington Commanders.
And I hope if he is, he makes great decisions like that.
So that I don't know. I agree. That was a bad call. Whoever made it, whether it was Campbell or Johnson or whoever made it, shouldn't do that. But going forward on 4th down, I don't have a problem with it. You've got to tell your guys, look, we're going to do this. We're here to win. We're not here to do anything else. We're here to win this game. And he had to be looking at his defense, who wasn't stopping anybody in that second half. Which is more of a
reason to go up 17.
Which is more of a reason to keep the ball out of San Francisco's offensive hands. Make the first down, which they would have done.
If Josh Reynolds,
that's what I'm saying. So
John
they would have taken, even if they end up kicking a field goal there, you're taking 2 or 3 more minutes off the clock.
And it does suck that it was a San Antonio kid that
it does.
that dropped
It does.
I felt awful
because Reynolds has been
for him.
great this year for Detroit. He's had a great year.
He's been reliable. Yeah, I mean, Dan Campbell's had that philosophy all year. Although, what did I see? He only kicks 30 or goes for it 34% of the time, which is the most by far in the NFL. But that tells me he's also not gone for it 70-something% or whatever the number was. I just thought in those situations, in the moment, I'm not second guessing after they didn't make it. In the moment, I didn't like either one of those calls before I saw the 4th down play.
I thought it was great. As I'm watching, I'm going, it's Detroit. They haven't been there in 100 years. You're there to win. And Dan Campbell has changed the culture of that city and that team. And I think you got to give him the benefit of the doubt. He may rethink that next year in the same situation. He may kick the field goal. But in this particular time, he did what he thought he had to do.
I have seen various analysts, and obviously we're all armchair quarterbacking, Monday afternoon quarterbacking at this point.
Sure.
Say that you can't, in a championship game like that, in a playoff game, do things like you would do in the regular season because there is no tomorrow. There's times when you gamble and go all in, and then there's times where you play it by the book and do the smart thing. Are you of the philosophy that in the playoffs you should be close to playing by the book?
No. Not if you're Detroit. I mean, it's kind of like going up. It's kind of like going to the World Series. What are you gonna watch the ball go by? You're gonna swing. You're gonna try to get the hit. He had it on that 1 4th down. He had it, and we're not even talking about this. Again, we're talking about how Dan Campbell's a genius as they get set to go to Vegas, and we're about to cover them in the Super Bowl. Because had he made those, Detroit wins the game. Just because he kicks a field goal there and makes it, there's no guarantee that they do it because they couldn't stop San Francisco.
He bypassed 6 points and lost by 3.
Well,
when it's all said and done, he left 6 points on out there, and they lost by 3.
So it's all Dan Campbell's fault. That's what you're saying.
His decision.
It's all his fault.
His
team has nothing to do with it. The fact that they couldn't stop Brock Purdy and company in the second half, that has nothing to do with it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm just trying to play by your set of rules because Lamar Jackson has a whole team around him, but it's his fault. Dak Prescott has a whole team around him, but it's his fault. Dan Campbell made the decision to go for it and not kick a field goal. That's on the head coach.
Okay. But again, what I'm saying is it's on the head coach now because it didn't make it. Had he made it, he's a genius. See, that's how we work as fans. He's a genius if he makes those plays. If the team makes the plays and picks up the 1st down, Dan Campbell's a genius. But because he didn't, he's a moron. And he cost the Lions the game.
The blackjack jokes all over Twitter after the game last night, and during the game for that matter, seemed appropriate. So let's put it in words that you understand. Have you ever hit on 18?
Never.
Have you ever hit on 20?
No.
What would you do if you're sitting in Vegas a week from today, and we will be, and you're at the table, and I don't even care what the dealer is showing. Let's say the dealer's showing a face card, and a guy at the table's got 19 and says hit. What are you doing?
I'm going to leave that table. It's exactly what I'm going to do.
And that's exactly what Dan Campbell should have done. Send out the kicker.
Okay, with the odds of him making that 1st down a little bit better than me hitting, getting a 2, hitting the 19. I think the odds are better. I mean, you're missing the point or you're not. It's if the guy makes it, he's a genius. Because he didn't, he's an idiot.
And if the guy hits on 19 and gets a 2, he's a genius. He's ballsy.
He's lucky as hell.
Okay, there you go.
He's lucky as hell.
That's why you kick the field goal.
No, you don't.
Let's talk about the Spurs.
Dan
they can
Campbell
get
did great.
3 in a row tonight. 3 is the key number apparently today. You okay over there, Pledge?
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on with Pledge over there. He's having a spasm.
I think just the idea of hitting on 19.
Well, don't ever do that.
Makes
And since we're comparing apples and oranges today, let's continue that talk. That's a ridiculous comparison. It's completely ridiculous.
Completely.
I mean, it's not even the same thing. Not even close.
If you're a gambler,
no,
hit.
It's not even close.
Hit.
Yeah, okay.
Hit. Come on, hit.
You go with that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Campbell, you keep doing you, buddy. You're successful.
Mm-hmm.
Got to the NFC Championship game. Maybe McCarthy should have gone for a few more fourth downs.
Oh, good Lord. I would love for that to have happened and watch your head explode.
Maybe he should have.
Mm-hmm. Stock Spurs coming up. They've got the Wizards tonight. You know, injuries do happen, and when they do, you can skip ER and get straight to an Ortho Now injury clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, strains, conveniently located in the Corey area. They have extended hours Monday through Saturday, on-site x-ray casting and bracing. Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, but best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. So if you're injured, get to an Ortho Now injury clinic. You can learn more online at tsaog.com. That's tsaog.com. Before we talk Spurs, we've got some tickets to give away. The Australian Pink Floyd. What it says here on the sheet.
The Australian Pink Floyd.
They're coming to the Boeing Center at Techport. Win a pair of tickets to see the Australian Pink Floyd, August 22nd. If you don't win them, you can buy them at livenation.com, or you can win them right now to see the Australian Pink Floyd. Be caller number 7 right now. Touchdown. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776.
The NFL playoffs are here.
Read all about it, baby. One last drive.
Wild card, divisional, conference championship, and Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. Hear it on your exclusive home for the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. 90 Sports Star.
Gomez Law Firm has been taking care of the people of San Antonio for almost 50 years, the leader in personal injury law. Jose, tell us a little bit more about what you do.
We do ride-sharing cases, 18-wheeler cases. Obviously, we've done those for very many years. Work injuries. We will be happy to take a look at and see if we can help.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then you need to visit joegomezlaw.com.
We've been around for almost 50 years, and we're not going anywhere.
Call the Gomez Law Firm at 736-4040.
3 little words no parent wants to hear.
My tummy hurts.
And it always seems to happen at the worst times. Like in the middle of the morning rush, when you still have homework to check and lunches to pack, and of course, you're already late for work. Luckily, there's Pepto Kids. Pepto Kids gummies help relieve occasional stomach upsets, turning those 3 words into these 3 words.
I feel better.
Bad time for stomach upsets? Good time for Pepto Kids gummies. Fast support for little tummies.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
When a cold comes on strong, try DayQuil's Severe Honey flavor. The daytime, coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, Honeylicious, power through your day medicine. Powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a Honeylicious taste, so a cold won't slow you down. Get back to your day feeling relieved, enjoying the delicious flavor of DayQuil Severe Honey. DayQuil Severe Honey flavor soothes your symptoms with a delicious taste. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Well, family, this new year is off to a great start. Everybody,
How are those New Year's resolutions?
Dear, my resolution is to cut my damaged hair and just start over.
Dad, my resolution is to take better care of my skin. It's so dry. Ew.
Pops, my New Year's resolution is to work out at the gym. Go up and drink a gallon of bottled water every day.
My resolution is to take up skydiving.
Mom, you're 96.
Don't you make me get it.
Family, my resolution is to replace all our appliances that have been destroyed over the years by hard water.
Sounds like your family needs to start the new year off with installing a Connecticut water system and get a head start on all those resolutions.
This guy's making sense.
There's a reason why we say Connecticut is the last water softener you'll ever own. Call us at 656-PURE. I'll even let you try a Connecticut water system for free. We'll change your water, and it'll change your life.
The last water softener you'll ever own. ConnecticutSA.com.
Hi, it's Jason Minix from the Blitz. Guys, Synergenics can help conquer your New Year's resolutions. Do you have lack of energy, motivation, and possibly low libido? These could be caused by low T levels. At Synergenics, they exclusively specialize in testosterone treatment and make it quick and easy to get your levels checked. And at Synergenics, you will get your results back at your first visit. To book your appointment, go to fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Hey, it's Jim Rome, and it's great to be back in San Antonio. Join me weekdays at noon on my new home, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This is the AA Best Bail Bonds Game Night San Antonio on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Every game night, the Blitz with Jason and Joe get you inside and ready for tonight's game. Players, coaches, insiders. This is the AA Best Bail Bonds Game Night San Antonio.
For three, butter. And Wembanyama put him in the friend zone.
The pregame show starts now.
Spurs going for their third straight.
Third straight.
3 straight wins.
I don't think they've done that all year, have they?
No. What do you waving off?
He was just agreeing.
Oh, okay.
First time today he's agreed with me.
Well, I mean, it's the first time you gave a fact.
Well, I'm just saying.
Oh my goodness! You look and look. Saturday night was an unexpected win.
Yes,
and certainly a lot of fun to watch. Washington comes in; they are second to second worst record in the East at 8-37. The Spurs a double-digit win team now at 10-36. So even though they're
it just sounds better, doesn't it?
It does. And the fact that they achieved the Blitz goal of getting the double-digit wins before the end of January.
That's incredible.
I mean, I'm sure Pop put it up on the grease board.
Sure.
Boys said they want 10. They went and got 10. But it's how they played the other night. And I thought Greg Popovich, especially back in the championship days, was very careful with certain words that he used with the media.
Yeah.
Now, generally it was after a loss. I'm not talking about calling them soft on a, random Tuesday in Milwaukee or something like that. But a lot of times, I do. He's a brilliant man that I think chooses words carefully with the media.
Sure.
And so when talking about the win, listen carefully to what Greg Popovich said Saturday night after the game.
Well, I think that, that they just exhibited a lot of desire to win, a lot of little things. I mean, obviously Jeremy had that run there. He was spectacular. Devin was spectacular all night, but it's a loose ball. It's Keldon's rebound there at the end, giving us an extra possession. The trapping they did down the stretch, they were, very physical and covered everybody, especially, Towns and Edwards. Those are the two guys, obviously, you worry about the most anyway, and they did a good job with them. So we'll see as the season progresses. We hope we're getting more habitual in doing things the right way and being more consistent. But the last two nights were wonderful for them.
I tell you what, I was glued to the set in that fourth quarter of this game in particular because the heart. I mean, I saw some heart in that team, some desire, as Pop mentioned, to win this game and to not blow it to a very good Minnesota Timberwolves team. And just it was fun to watch them play that way.
When I hear Pop talk about they had the desire to win, they did the little things.
Yeah.
They want that to become habitual, consistent, keywords. And you saw that. And we've seen that 2 games in a row. But it feels so different when you do it against a good basketball team, a great basketball team in Minnesota. Right now, tied for first, 32-14 with Oklahoma City, right? Now, and if you were watching that game, it didn't feel like Minnesota rolled into San Antonio thinking they had an easy win.
No.
Right?
No.
They played their style of basketball. And the Spurs hung toe-to-toe, and in the fourth quarter, they were able to pull out a win. And this team, a month ago, would have folded and lost by double digits.
Yeah, no doubt.
When things weren't going right, this team used to, this season would, all right, well, here, another L.
Here we go again, yeah.
And they didn't. I'm not sure what has changed over the last couple of games to where that desire to win, because you saw it from everybody. I mean, Jeremy was fantastic in that game. Keldon was fantastic in that game. Guys that we have spent a lot of time on this show beating up, let's give them their flowers when they earn them, and they earned them the other night.
Definitely.
What was different in their game other than the desire to win, as Greg Popovich said?
Well, look, a lot of things. I mean, they were making shots too. That always helps.
Sure.
And that's been a downfall a lot this year. Some shots just don't fall. But what I liked is just the effort. And these guys were hustling after loose balls. They were and they were playing defense. They were bodying up on people and playing physical basketball. And it was just fun to watch. And it's been a long time since I've really had fun watching the Spurs play basketball. I mean, Bill Land and Sean Elliott were even back into it. They were getting excited about it and about the play. So I think that's it. I mean, I think that's 90% of it, Jason. These guys know how to play basketball, but I think 90% of it is heart, desire, and the things that Pop spoke of. And I think that's what he wants to see. And now we just need to see if it's going to be consistent.
That's a big part of it. But the idea that, I mean, obviously shots are going in. They were making, as you said, great basketball plays, great basketball decisions. A week ago, we were questioning basketball IQ, which I think is still a very fair question for a lot of the guys on this basketball team. But for a team that has now won 10 games on the year, there was a feeling, a confidence in this group that they were actually going to win that game. It was just not going to be another loss.
Right.
So something was different. And I think that was the difference, because they've been in a lot of games this year where the third quarter was a disaster and the fourth quarter was just going through the motions to get to the final buzzer. So there was something different, and maybe it's clicked. Maybe something has clicked, because there's always that light bulb that goes off with a young team where you start seeing the progress.
Yeah.
And a win like that might springboard this team into, more wins, obviously. And I'm not going to say a long winning streak, but just better basketball play. Like, all right, it's finally there. Wemby after the game talking about it as being the best win of the season.
Probably, if not the best one, maybe the one that snapped our losing streak, but it's definitely a good one. And I think tonight we have to feel proud about what we did and get used to that feeling so we can repeat it.
And I agree with him. You should feel proud about that effort. And hopefully you want to feel that feeling again. Proud of yourself for the effort. And I think they could. Look, Washington, they should win this game tonight. This is a game they should win. Washington is not very good. The Spurs have them at home. They ought to be able to take Washington. And then got Orlando next. So you could see a scenario where you reel off 4, 5, 6 in a row during this homestand. And let's hope that's the case. Look, they only need 20 more wins to beat the over and under. Just 20 more.
Can they get there? I had them at 38.
See, I had them at what, 29? I think it's 29 and a half.
I don't even know if you had that many.
Yeah, I had 29.
Oh.
Just do all the under. The under.
The under.
Yeah.
Could it be that at this point? I don't want to say they were playing with pressure, but this season is gone. They're not going to be a playoff team this year.
No.
They'll officially be eliminated from the postseason probably before the end of the month.
Yes.
Right. Not this month, and the next month.
Sure.
Right. Possibly during the rodeo road trip.
Could be.
I mean, they are so far back. I wonder if that pressure is eliminated. Let's just go play basketball.
Maybe so.
Maybe that tirade that Pop had a couple of weeks ago that we've questioned. Now you're saying if they're okay with losing, we'll ship their asses out. Maybe one of those coach speaks. They realize they're playing for their jobs in San Antonio.
Well, I still think this team is going to look much different next year than it does this year. There's going to be some new pieces. There's going to, I hope, and that's my hope in the Spurs management, that there's going to be some new pieces in, and that this team will look different in a lot of ways. But I think you have to have that feeling of winning. And that gets contagious. It does. And I just think that that's what they found out. They all, in their post-game press conferences, just you could hear the pep in their step, the excitement, and the feeling that they had. And it was a good one. And hopefully that gets contagious, and they want to feel that a lot more this year.
It was an exciting win. There was a photo that I saw floating around Twitter's after the game. It was Keldon hugging Wemby, Pop in the background, proud. Because those guys needed that.
They did.
I mean, you need to have something like that.
Yeah.
Because they put in the work. They go to practice. They look at film. They do all of that stuff. And at some point, to see that effort rewarded with a victory, you need that. Everybody needs that. And to do it against a solid team, a playoff team like Minnesota, this is different than beating the Lakers, our in-season tournament champions. Different, as Wemby said, when they had that long losing streak and they finally ended that. Last night was their best win of the season, probably because they played their best basketball. Like all the things that we've talked about wanting to see from this group, individuals that we've been mad at, playing great basketball. It was huge. And hell, we even had another bat in the building. And if it takes bringing bats into the building, if the Lions at one point could actually have a real lion on the sideline with some dude holding it on a leash, then we can bring bats in. Coyote's got the suit. He's obviously a great catcher of bats. He's got 3 of them now on his resume.
What the hell's with the bats at the Frost Bank Center? Is there a cave around there somewhere?
I mean, you realize we have bats in Texas,
well,
right?
No, I get it, but don't they live in caves? I mean, so what the hell? Are they mistaking the Frost Bank Center for a cave?
The bat cave?
Let's hang out.
I mean, they fly around. They're looking for food.
Do they like popcorn?
They're looking for food. What do bats eat? Rats? Snakes?
Bugs.
Bugs?
Rats. They're not any bigger than a rat.
They're
a
a rat with wings. What are you talking about?
A rat would probably kick their butt.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think even rats would be scared of it. Everybody's scared of them except the coyote. Keldon Johnson, he wanted nothing to do with going anywhere near that bat.
Nah. Some things, you just, I know my lane. That ain't really something that like I'm borderline scared of the dark. So like a bat, that's something like, nah, that ain't really up my alley. Like I was more scared. Nah, for sure. You see everybody moving out the way. I ain't see nobody going to try to catch the bat except for the dude in the suit.
The dude in the suit.
I would have got out the way. The bat would have came out and ran to the locker room. Yeah.
You know his history, right?
Yeah, Manu caught the bat. He had to get some shots. And let you know, I don't want to do that. No, that's not my alley. Coyote got the protection because he got the whole suit on. But you see, in the best I flying low to the ground, everybody move out the way. That would have been me too.
That would have been me too. I'm getting the hell out of the way.
Me too.
I'm not messing with a bat. I don't want to do that. Glad the Coyote is taking care of that. And the fact that Manu was there, that kind of made it
appropriate.
Appropriate, yeah.
Manu sitting up there with Boris Diaw. He's not going through those shots again.
Apparently, Boris Diaw was looking pretty good at shoot around today. I've seen a couple of tweets that he looks pretty good. Maybe we ought to suit him up.
You want to start those rumors?
No.
Why not?
I mean, I didn't start them. They're on Twitter. The guy was in a suit. Well, a suit. He was practicing.
He's wearing a suit at practice, Joe?
It's amazing how you can shoot with a coat and tie. It's crazy.
It's crazy. So you don't want to start rumors, but now you're going to say he was over there in a suit.
Well, a basketball suit.
A basketball suit. Yeah, like a uniform?
Yes.
He's wearing shorts and a T-shirt?
Exactly.
Come on, TV boy.
Yeah.
He's in a suit. Is he wearing loafers?
Maybe.
Who
knows?
Get the Morrises back in town.
With a penny in them. You remember those?
No, Joe, I
had
don't.
loafers that you actually had a real penny in there.
Penny loafers.
Yeah.
What did the penny do?
It just sat there, Jason. It's a penny.
Where was it in the shoe?
It's a penny.
Where was it in the shoe?
They had a little, like a
Was it like in the heel so it would click?
No, it was in the top.
In the top?
Yeah. They made a hole specifically for the penny.
For what? In case you needed a piece of gum back in the day? They were a penny?
I don't know.
Did you
why.
own penny loafers?
I did not.
With a real penny?
I did not.
If it was a quarter, would it be
there,
quarter
look,
loafers?
They're making them now. Looks a reputable brand. And there's penny loafers. Look, there it is.
Well, that looked like a dime.
Well, times have gotten tougher. You can't go with pennies anymore. You got to stick quarters in there.
Huh. Well, at least you'd always have a quarter so you could phone home. Just in case.
It's the last time you saw a payphone.
Last time I thought about wearing shoes like that.
You've never heard of a penny loafer, man.
I've heard of a penny loafer. I just didn't actually realize there was an actual penny in there.
Yes.
I thought it was just.
Well, why else would they call them penny loafers?
Because you got them at J.C. Penney's and they were shoes. I have no idea, to be honest with you.
Penny loafers.
Seriously.
Because they had a penny in there.
I learn something new every day.
I know it.
Time to go home.
It is.
It is.
Yeah, your brain's working overtime.
Extra innings with Pledge next here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, but first, before we go away, let's talk about life's unexpected curveballs. You ever been hit with challenges that leave